All right, let's get this party started.
Peace to the saints. We are back here for another discussion. This particular discussion is on how girls are raised. And I want to yield this to the gentleman, introduce himself, and provide his initial perspective.
I go by Nubian Knight. My name's Dennis. And my perspective is that you should raise your daughters to be educated and to have the ability to work if they're ever put in a situation where they need to. I yield the floor.
Are you currently married to their mother?
Yeah, I'm married to their mother and we have 2 daughters.
Okay, so you have a total of 2 daughters and you're married to the mother of these daughters.
Correct.
Gotcha. And let's pop up the initial comment that was made just so that folks can track your perspective. So I'm gonna pull up the comment here just so no one thinks that I'm not being accurate. So here's the comment. So the gentleman writes, quote, "I don't agree with everything that she says," and I'll play the video shortly, "but as a father of 2 girls, I want them to be educated enough to be able to have their own career." So we'll stop there. I don't know if you use the word career intentionally, but generally a career is viewed as like some greater calling and vocation that you do over time and you want to advance within it. I view a career as something that a man has, whereas a woman might have a job, but really she should be seeking a husband. Where do you differ there?
Well, I use the word career intentionally because it's the ability to have a career. So I would like my daughter to take the traditional role of being a housewife and being there to rear the children and, take care of the household. I also would like her to have an option to have a career if she's ever put in a situation where she needs to, because we never know what the world brings. There's illness, there's accidents, there's divorce, there's all types of things that if she was to solely rely on a man blindly, I don't feel it's proper preparation for me to have my daughter that way.
Your wife, does she have any other children?
Yes, she does. She has a daughter.
From another man?
Correct.
Yes. So is this her second or third marriage?
This is her second.
Second marriage. Got it. So the perspective that you're actually putting forward is one that is dangerous, and it is in fact commonplace. This is precisely what I'm seeking to fight against. And my belief is that it's fundamental to the beta male that they promote this life way to the female. And so what we're suffering in today's society are many independent women, many unruly women, many women trying to be like men and compete with men. And you, sir, are actually producing that very kind of woman who is more problematic and more likely to break a marriage. Generally, I don't know how much you watch my live streams, but you'll find that consistently I'll ask someone a question about their life, having never met them, and the answer is always yes. And I know the answer before I ask the question, and it's because there is a pattern of behaviors and there's a consistent number of traits that are associated with your kind of thinking. So I identify that you're taking care of another man's child. You're with a woman who's on her second marriage. And so you're in the position of a beta male. And a beta male deals with a non-submissive female because that's can get out of her. Whereas an alpha male or a strong male deals with women who fully submit. And that's because the woman finds you as a man who's worthy of full submission. So you're raising females to seek the kind of male that you are, but that you're not the most desired male. And so essentially, you and I are in a struggle against each other philosophically and in terms of our life way. I yield the floor.
I just want to ask, do you have any daughters?
If you go to peaceofthesaints.com and you scroll to the bottom and you click Marquettism, you can read all about our philosophy and our life way and our culture.
This dude said Marquettis. Yo, what Marquetiquism? What do you say Marquettism? And that's his name. He got people lined up. Yeah. This anybody sometimes women throw around the word narcissistic as loose. It loses its but this guy right here, like, he's the epitome of a narcissist. This is a narcissist. Marquettism. He put his name as the ism. Okay. He asked the guy, do you have any daughters? Just answer the question. Do you have any kids? Are you married? Ever been married? These guys with the most game, they want to teach you how to be a man and be alpha, and they never got kids. They never married. They're never the example how to do it right. That's the pattern I follow with these guys. But is he going to answer the question about the daughters?
Culture and if you and I are in a struggle against each other philosophically and in terms of our life way. I yield the floor.
I just want to ask, do you have any daughters?
If you go to peaceofthesaints.com and you scroll to the bottom and you click Marquettism, you can read all about our philosophy and our life way and our culture. And within our culture, we do not give enemies targets. We don't discuss our family. We don't discuss our women. We don't put our women or family on Front Street. And so I am just one man, the one you see in front of you.
Well, I don't ask for your daughter's information.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what? So you get to debate and ask him questions that you're not willing to reveal? He said Marquettism, whatever, that stupid. And then he says, we don't do, that's the bullshit you made up and you gave your cult members. And you made them to agree to that. Like he said, give our enemies. Okay. I'm going to talk about that in a second. That was the weakest rebuttal to the question, do you have a white, oh my God, daughters? He's not a good debater. Like, this guy got a, all right, whatever.
I just want to better understand the position you're coming from.
I'm coming from a position of logic and reason and a life well lived. And what I can tell you is that I'm an unchanging individual who goes with principle every time. So what I tell you, you can take it to the bank and know that I would execute on it. And in fact, if you ever question, you could read my book called The Black Box. It's here in ink, my life story, and you can cross-reference everything I mentioned in Google and find that I'm extremely authentic and accurate. And my argument was that you and I, representing the beta male and the alpha male, operate in two different life ways, and you're conditioning your daughters to pursue beta males because that's what you are.
You're making claims of my status as a man, and I'm not going to respond to that. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it. What
no,
I'm
it's not
trying
an
to
opinion,
understand
actually.
is
It's
the
in line with
actual
science. So when I say beta male, or
It's an opinion
I
of
say,
yours.
sir, no, sir. When I say beta male or I speak of survival of the fittest, we're speaking within a scientific framework, evolutionary biology. And evolutionary biology points to the male who is able to spread their seed, their DNA. And also, if you observe in nature, generally the alpha male or the dominant male is the one who monopolizes the female first. So if you come in afterward, then essentially you've kind of gotten leftovers. And so when I say beta male or less desired or weak male, what I'm describing is the reality of how you're operating within the sexual marketplace. And so a beta male is one who is pro-monogamy, and that's largely because you can't get a woman to allow you to be polygynous. A beta male is the one who comes in after the female already dealt with the male who was her ideal, and maybe he didn't want to hold on to her. And so it's the weaker male. So beta male is more of a colloquial way to identify the position of weakness within the evolutionary in evolutionary biology. You're lower on this the totem pole. So it's just a colloquialism. But it's not.
So that's still your opinion based on the fact that my woman has another child. That's where you're gaining this opinion from. So
that's not an opinion. I think we all agree that that's less than ideal, right?
That's not the topic of the debate. Furthermore, the topic of debate
is that is actually the topic.
Oh, you didn't know who you were debating? You were debating a guy who never debates the topic of the debate. He only throw personal shots at homonyms and tell you you're a beta, he's alpha, and just make up a whole bunch of definitions what a beta and alpha is. He'll make sure that he fits the alpha, you're the beta. What? Yeah, you don't know who you're debating? You're debating a guy who never debates the topic
of the debate. I'm explaining that the reason you have that perspective. No, mind you, I didn't get offended. I didn't get offended when
I'm not offended, but you're just cutting me off and not allowing me to speak.
It is the topic of the debate because you're arguing that your daughter should be raised to be independent women, and I'm saying the reason
I did not say that. I did not say that. I did not say that, so don't put words in my mouth.
No, I said, I didn't say you said that.
I respect your debates.
One moment, I didn't say that you said that. No, I didn't say you said that. No, sir, I said you're arguing. You see, you have to pay attention.
That's not my argument, though. That's not my argument.
Hold on. You said I didn't quote you. I said you were arguing, meaning pushing toward a particular logical conclusion.
That's not my argument. I'm a totally.
You're actually interrupting me.
Well, because you won't allow me to speak. I'm totally against independent women. I'm against that. What I'm saying is that I should raise my daughters competent enough to be able to take care of themselves in the event where there is not a man in the household to take care of them. Like you said with your father, you claim your father is an alpha male, yet your mother was a single mother. So should she be punished if she didn't have the aptitude to work and take care of you and to feed you? And if you had any siblings, should she be in a situation where, oh, the alpha male is gone, now I'm just by myself and I have to go find another alpha male to look after me? Like, is that the position you'd want your daughter in?
So it seems as though you're having trouble being concise, and I'm more than happy to answer your question. But if you pose 3 questions back to back to back to back, I'll have to speak at length. So I'm just politely asking you, which question do you want me to answer?
Well, the question that I would like you to answer is, would you want for when your father was out of your mother's life, for her to have the ability to be able to take care of you?
Okay, would you repeat that?
Even though he's an alpha male.
Just goodness, just please keep your question simple so it can be answered. Simple. Like, I'm trying to work with you. You just ask the question, then you start going on to something else. Just try to make it simple. Just try to make it simple, please.
I'll make it simple.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so your father is an alpha male, and whatever took him out of your mother's life, would you want for your mother to be able to work and feed you in the absence of your father?
Great, thank you for your question. So, number one, My mother was not with my father because she fits one of three categories, which is pretty much always the case when you find a single mother. It's overwhelmingly the case. They're either unruly, disobedient, or promiscuous. I'm sorry, incompetent.
My fault. I can't stand these phones. Okay, so he said he admitted his mom is promiscuous. So he's now you see why these guys view women a certain way. Like he just admitted that. He just admitted they view people a certain way because that's how they view their mother. So when they get mad at women and scream at women, they really got their mother in mind. Okay, so whatever darkness his mom, a lot of these guys' moms expose them to, they're forever mad at their mom. So they see women as their mom. Listen to this guy one more time. So he said the right word. He tried to take it back.
I'm sorry. Case when you find a single mother, it's overwhelming. Number one, my mother was not with my father because she fits one of three categories, which is pretty much always the case when you find a single mother. It's overwhelmingly the case. They're either unruly, disobedient, or promiscuous.
There you go. So his mom was probably all three in his mind, you know, unruly, disobedient, and promiscuous. So unruly means in his mind, his mom was ratchet, you know. Disobedient is his mom didn't take directives to nobody. She argued with everybody, her job, the courts, the hospital, whoever. His mom wasn't good at taking directives, and his mom was promiscuous. His mom brought a lot of men into the household. Okay, and as he grew up, he never forgave his mom. All right, so we're not gonna let him change up the language. That's what you said, my guy.
And that's why she was unworthy of holding on to a man, whether it was my father or any other high caliber man. Now, a man.
And a lot of these red pill guys be having a lot of feminine attributes, like their mom. You dig? So maybe that's another thing to consider. Like maybe dudes have an alternative lifestyle, and they feel like it's their mom's fault for whatever reason, because she was single, the man wasn't there to help influence his real whatever alpha and beta some made up stuff, by the way. Okay, there's no real definition for that, and that goes back to my critical thinking and logical thinking. I'm gonna break down in a second. Okay, so yeah, so a lot of these guys are mad at their mom's lifestyle, their upbringing as they grew up. Maybe it was embarrassing him. His friends were saying things and neighbors saying things. That happens, right? And then the other thing is maybe these guys have alternative lifestyle, and they're mad at it, and they blame their mom because there was no dad in the house to guide them right, to make them a man, make them. So they live life screaming at women, and they live life where they overcompensate their manhood. So all of them are top fighters. From Andrew Tate to this guy to Myron Gaines, they all these red pill guys, nobody can beat them in a fight. They're undefeated until they actually get out there. And as you can see, their leader, Andrew Tate, got knocked out in like 30 seconds. All right. So, but all of them claims that they are just the best fighters in the world. Never fought, no fight on camera. This dude right here had 1,000 scheduled fades, didn't complete one. Had an excuse for every last one of them, and people give him a pass every last time. Okay. Meanwhile, Tariq Nasheed went out there and slapped somebody, and then Tariq never brags about this stuff. He went out there and slapped somebody, and then the other guy, Brandon, he went out there to do something to him too, and Brandon went the other way, right? So you got people. So people who actually is about that don't really talk about it. They just do it. That's my thing. You got doers and you got talkers. Also, this guy Marquette did not want to answer the question whether he had a daughter, kids, or if he's even married or ever been married, or if he's in a relationship right now. I mean, what is the point of debating this guy when you give him all? Can y'all imagine that? Can you imagine going to court debating something and you give your entire argument, all your evidence, and the other side gives up nothing? They just look at what you're about to do. Yeah, that is a huge advantage. So he asked the dude, "Hey, how many kids you got? Are you married? How many times the woman you married? Has she been married before? Does she have other kids prior to you guys?" So he got all this ammo on Buddy. Buddy went to ask Marquette, "Hey, do you have a daughter? Do you have kids? Have you been married?" "Oh, well, there's a website we have called Marketism. Where the hell he said? A weird name. And on our website, we don't disclose such information because our enemy, here we go with the enemy, this phantom enemy, our enemy will use that against us. So I'm just representing myself and the argument, and you're not allowed to use my personal life against me, but I'm allowed to use your personal life against you, and I can determine you're a beta male by your personal life, but you can't determine if I am by my personal life because I ain't gonna tell you my personal life. Hey, come on. Like all these red pill guys be the most feminine dudes, and they're never currently married, family men. I don't know, man. But and now we find out his mom was one of three things: either unruly, disobedient, or promiscuous. Okay, but they got all the advice on how to get a woman. Ain't married, no family, got kids, don't claim them. Been married, don't want to disclose that. At least Kevin Samuels disclosed he was married before and divorced and got kids. Like these guys don't want to that guy, yo, wow. Yeah. So I wouldn't even talk to a person like this who will use my information against me, but won't give up no information about themselves.
Such as yourself would have probably stuck around. But a man who has options would not stick around my mother. So I think that was the right reaction to the kind of character she is. And I love my mother very much. She's a much better mother than she is a wife, you see. But the key is the ideal woman is a wife mother. That's a term that I've coined. It's wife dash mother. And wife comes first because wife is more important and it's the primary duty. So my mother was good at being a mother, terrible at being a wife, which is why she was left single. Now,
did this dude say this dude said wife first and then mother? Yeah. Um hey what's the guy? Yeah, somebody or what? He like, hey, wait, who was that guy who said the LGBT? Yeah, can you just block the guy? Just block him. Because he made a comment on a video and I was like, yo, pull up, man. The link's right there. He sees his link. I said, man, pull up and ask that question. So I know you ain't trolling. And then he comes live and say it again and don't pull up, man. Somebody just block that guy. Madman said, yeah, yeah. This dude, I'm gonna tell you what Marquette has a problem with. He has a problem with struggling to find his identity, who he is on the net. He is struggling to find who he is on the net because if you look at his content, he's a bunch of things. You dig? He's a red pill guy. He offers relationships. He can teach you how to fight. You dig? You can learn his boxing classes where he like you can learn how to joust. He was in some old jousting stuff. And then he's a debater. He debates South Africa. And then he's something else. And then he's a teacher. Then he's a businessman. He sells tech, lying about that. I mean, he's literally all over the place. He's a millionaire and not just a millionaire, he's a gazillionaire. He just could take $1 million, go to Africa and just liquidate it on some land with nothing, no issues. He don't need investors to pour in to help. I'm like, God, when do rich people spend their own money on investments? I'm like, all right, whatever. Like they're rich because they get investors to put in to purchase certain But fake rich people think rich people gotta have it, gotta be sole owners, 100% owners. That's what fake rich people think. That's why he would say that. I'll take $1 million, go to Africa and buy land. Yeah, sure, rich guy. Um, but this guy said that a wife, no, yeah, a wife needs to be a wife first and a mother second. So just off that, he's saying the wife should tend to his needs rather than the kids' needs. I mean, bro, if you could find a woman like that in America, good luck. You know, like, do you? But that's not even a woman's natural. That's not a woman's natural instinct to serve her husband over her kids. Like that. Like you gotta brainwash her, which he's good at. He's good at brainwashing people, practicing hypnosis on people to make them relieve themselves of their natural instinctive mother duties to serve this dude who ain't gonna marry you, who ain't gonna give you kids because he don't want to be a beta. This weirdo.
An alpha male or a desirable male would not want to come in after another man has planted in her body. You see, that's actually quite unclean, and this is leftovers. This is not what you're doing if you're in a strong position. So, yes, ideally, she should have been left alone. And you ask me, would I want my mother to still be able to earn? Well, obviously, she was able to earn just fine. My mother has a high school degree with no university completed and no special skill set. People will always find a way to earn and to survive. So, contrary to your suggestion that your daughters need to be sophisticated and have significant education and meaningful career, you're interrupting, yeah. Sir. Please, you're interrupting.
Go ahead.
So, thank you. Please don't interrupt. So contrary to your suggestion that your daughters need to have significant education and skills, any functional human being who's gotten a proper primary and high school education will be able to operate within the marketplace. But the truth of the matter is, a woman who is not promiscuous, a woman who is not unruly, and a woman who is not incompetent will be able to hold on to a man, because the fact is 70% of divorces are brought by women, not men. So if the woman is raised by a proper father, which
so these guys, I mean, like he is like bottom of the totem pole in this topic, because the person who led this topic was Kevin Samuels, right? And then Andrew Tate came behind Kevin Samuels, and then Myron Gaines came behind Andrew Tate, and then a bunch of other weirdos try to be next up, right? And he was one of them. Like he thought somehow there's room for an audience for him. So the audience went from Kevin Samuels, he got gazillion views. Andrew Tate took the views to another level. Myron Gaines got decent views on this. And now it's him and another bunch of weirdos that I've seen. They gets no views, no love, nobody you know, checking for them in these red pill spaces.
Would be a strong father, a desirable father, he will condition her to want to be with a man like him. And she will be able to do that. The only reason that you condition your daughter to be prepared for if her relationship fails is because you're with a woman whose relationship failed, and you're calibrated around that reality, because that's the only reason you guys like you can really even get a woman, because you have to come in and get the seconds that, you know, when the real man that she wanted doesn't want her and doesn't want to deal with her, so she's left to you. So you're conditioning your daughter to have.
Now he has no idea if the father of the woman, the first guy, was a real man. I would have said, which he keeps talking, won't stop. I would have said, bro, what if the real father or the real man was actually the first beta man she met? How about beta men attract her? Okay, she's attracted to beta men. So the first guy she dated was the first beta man. Like, so everything I'm on, he was on. But this weirdo don't know nothing about the first father, but just because he got to her first out of them two, he's the real man. So like the logic, it flops, it withers away. Everything he's saying, this guy's not. How do you know the first guy that got to her first ain't what wasn't a stepfather to another woman before her? You dig? Like you just like that's why this red pill stuff, it never goes nowhere. And I'll cook them too because the logic is silly, especially when you ask them to define a beta and alpha. You dig? And I got questions on those definitions. Cause I like this weirdo had to do. This weirdo had to go to the animal kingdom. Well, I used to study a lot of those animals, the wolf pack, just all of that stuff. But I do know lions. I do know when a lion take over pride. Now, for you guys that play, when lions take over pride, you think the lions always delete the cub or the women's seed from another lion. Not all the time. A lot of times, those offspring survive during a pride takeover, half the time or close. But the bottom line is that they don't always delete who was left over by the last lion seed. Some of those offsprings get to stick around, even though there's a new king in charge. You dig? So that lion, is that lion a beta? Because he's raising the kids of the last line. He ran off. Is that lion a beta? Because you're using alpha and beta from the animal kingdom, the insect world. It's not the human world.
Have the same experience that your wife had. And I don't say any of this to be disrespectful. I just say it, with cold logic.
Do you yield the floor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're arguing from a completely flawed position. First, you're talking about divorce. There's many situations in life besides divorce that can take a man out of a woman's life. There's loss of job, there's accidents, there's death, there's illness, there's countless situations in which a man can be taken out of a woman's life. So whether or not the man is a high caliber man or a low caliber man or whatever status the man is, the woman, unless the man is able to give the woman some type of security where if something were to happen to him, that she would be okay and their children will be okay. You can't say that a woman should a woman should submit to her man, and that is the ideal, right? My woman submits to me, my children submit to me. It has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is life is unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So if that situation, like what happened with your mother, if she hadn't been prepared to work and feed you, you would not be in the position you are in today.
Incorrect.
Say, oh, a woman.
You're speculative. You're literally making up lies. You shouldn't do that.
You've been making up lies this entire time. You've been making lies this entire time. I am using evidence. Is your mother a big part of your life?
You'll notice, for example, that I said 70% of divorces are brought by women. You see, and instead of addressing that reality, because your initial claim was if your daughter lost her man. So no, your initial claim was if your daughter didn't have a man to take care of her.
I didn't say to
because
divorce.
She lost the man.
I didn't say to divorce.
So the fact of the matter is that you're not addressing my arguments. And what's more is you're not using any factual basis. You're just making up things. You're speculating and you're guessing.
So there's
for example, you just lied and suggested that my mother's had a major impact on me, which is not the truth, actually. I wrote an entire book about my life. I recommend you read it. It might benefit you greatly. But no, my good fortune is that my mother did not have a huge effect on my life because my mother, like any other woman, my mother's exceedingly kind. And that certainly I took a level of that, and probably I'd be more of a harsh person. But no, my uncle had huge influence. My grandmother had huge influence because they had more time to be present. And the reason my mother didn't have time is because she was a single mother. That's not the way parenting is supposed to go. You're supposed to have two parents. And so you're being speculative. You need to use facts. And so I'm still waiting for you, A, to make a sound argument, and then B, for you to use facts instead of just making up things based on your imagined anecdotes. I yield the floor.
Well, you've been making up things this entire time with no facts.
I hear you.
The facts
Go ahead
are in
and
your head.
Go
So
ahead and
what I'm
okay. Well,
what
real
I'm
quick,
saying-
just so far, I said 70% of divorces are brought by women. So your daughter is
haven't
less
talked about
likely to be
divorce.
single because of her own making. So now, what are, just real quick, up to this point, what fact or figure have you named? Just give me one fact or figure you've pointed out.
Death.
No, I said a fact or a figure,
is-
sir.
death is
Give
a
me some
fact.
statistics. Give me some data
Is
that
death-
you've pointed out.
Is death a fact?
Oh my goodness, low
100%
IQ.
of people will die.
What percentage of women?
100%
What percentage of
people will
women?
die.
Oh, you can't be this foolish. What percentage of women lose their spouse to death?
Name
What
calling
percentage of
doesn't
women
make your
lose their
point.
spouse to death and then
Name
have
calling
no
doesn't
income?
make your point.
What
There's
percentage of women? Hold on, son. What percentage of women lose their spouse to death and then
good.
struggle to make ends meet?
Okay, first of all, the state of this argument is that women should be in a position where they're able to take care of themselves in the position that the man is not in their life.
Okay, now give us some data that would indicate when the man is not going to be in their life. Like, tell us what you mean.
I told you the data is there's death, there's disability, there's jail.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay,
Do you understand what I'm saying?
If you would just give me a moment, I'm gonna just try to explain what I'm asking you.
I understand what you're asking me.
No, I don't think you do. I don't.
You want me to
no,
give
sir,
you
I don't think
numbers?
you do.
You want me to say
I can tell.
20% of
That you.
married men
No,
die?
sir. I can tell that you are not properly educated. You don't have any meaningful degrees because you're not able to think in a linear way. It reeks of the fact that you've not been trained to think. You see, I have IQ for sure, but also university does train you to think in a particular way that helps us all get to the conclusion a little faster. We can confirm that you don't have any university education, correct?
How are you talking about?
Do you have university education?
Are you changing?
No,
the
that's not the goalpost. I'm just
Are you
explaining to
changing
you
the
why you're
goalpost?
having
No,
trouble.
you are. You're
You're having
completely
trouble
changing the
tracking.
goalpost.
You're having trouble
I'm
tracking
not having trouble
arguments.
tracking. You're changing the.
Wait, just real
you're
quick.
changing
Just
the
real quick.
subject.
Just one moment. No,
You're
this is not the
making
subject. I'm just asking
accusations.
you a question.
You
I'm just
are.
asking you a
You
question.
changed
Do you
the
have a
subject.
university degree?
No, you
Do you
told
have a
me you
university
wouldn't even-
degree?
Sir,
Do you have a
you
university
told me-
degree?
Do you have a
Do
daughter?
you have a university degree?
Do you have a daughter?
Do you have a university degree?
Do you have a daughter?
Aha, I see. Ask me questions
have
when I
a
ask you
daughter?
questions.
No,
Do you have
because
a
I asked
university
you the
degree?
question first. I asked
No, you
the
did not
question
ask me first, my
yeah,
dear
I did.
boy.
I asked you
So
if you had a daughter.
you're angry.
told me-
You're angry because
angry.
we
I'm not
found
angry
out.
at
No,
all.
you are angry.
You
You are
told
angry.
me-
You're
you
very
told me-
angry right now. You have to calm down.
No. Don't project
You're
onto
very
me,
angry.
Marquette.
You're very angry. You have to
Don't
calm
project-
down. You
don't
have to calm
project
down.
onto me, Marquette.
Just
I'm
calm down.
very
Just
calm,
calm down.
Marquette. You have to
No,
calm
you're
down.
not calm
You have
because
to
I
calm
asked you
down.
a question and then all of a sudden you start
I asked
countering with a
you
question.
No,
You
because
see,
I asked you
everyone's
the
been
question first.
listening. I asked you the question and then you
I'm
wouldn't
listening,
answer it
and you're
because you're
listening.
embarrassed.
I asked you a
If you
question.
asked
I'm
me,
not
I would
embarrassed.
just answer that question.
No,
You're embarrassed
are you
that you don't have a
embarrassed
university
about
degree.
whether or not you have a
and
daughter?
you're embarrassed about the
embarrassed of
fact
whether or
that
not
you
you
have
have a
not
daughter?
learned how to think in a
No,
linear
answer
way.
the question.
So
Answer the
you don't have
question.
to.
This weirdo brings every debate to his degree, just like a Pan-African. Pan-Africans tell you didn't read, you don't got a PhD, you ain't got a bachelor, you ain't got a master's. This is what every Pan-African do. Marquette Devon Burton is no different. He's a Pan-African like the rest of them. They'll argue with you, they'll start losing, they'll mention their credentials. They do. What does your credentials got to do with you getting cooked?
Answer to the audience, everyone.
Ah, my God. Can't stand these phones, man.
No,
You
because
see,
I asked you
everyone's
the
been
question first.
listening. I asked you the question and then you
I'm
wouldn't
listening,
answer it
and you're
because you're
listening.
embarrassed.
I asked you a
if you
question.
asked
I'm not
me, I would
embarrassed.
just answer that question.
No,
You're embarrassed
are you
that you don't have a
embarrassed about
university
whether
degree.
or not you have a
and
daughter?
you're embarrassed about the
embarrassed of
fact
whether or
that
not
you
you
have
have a
not
daughter?
learned how to think in a
No,
linear
answer
way.
the question.
So
Answer the
you don't have
question.
to answer. To
I
the
asked you a
audience,
simple
everyone
question.
watching, this man.
Yeah. There's nothing about these fake betas. They won't, I'm sorry, these fake alphas. They'll never tell you about their financial life. I mean, romantic life. They'll ask you about yours, And then the minute the dude asked Marquette, "Hey, are you involved? Are you single?" You know, because I want to know, did you apply your method to yourself? You did. Are you single? Do you have a kid? Do you how you raise your daughter? Oh, I don't disclose that information. Us cult member alphas, we don't disclose the information about our own romantic life. We need to know yours and hold you accountable.
And has no
So does
university
that mean you
degree.
don't have a
That's
daughter?
why he's having
Is that what
trouble.
that means?
That's why he's
It
having
means you don't have
trouble
a
with the
daughter?
logic. He has
No,
no
I'm not having
ability
trouble
to
with no
track
logic.
arguments or to explain himself
You
using data,
are
facts,
running
and
from the
figures.
questions.
He's
If you're
highly
not going to
speculative.
no, listen.
It's very sad.
Listen.
It's very sad.
Listen.
Now,
Marquette,
let me
if you're
explain
not
to you real
able,
quick. Since
let me
you're
say one
scared to
thing.
answer the
Let me say
question,
one
since you're
thing
scared,
before you
calm
finish.
down, calm down.
Let me say
No, no,
one
no,
thing.
no, don't
No,
say a
I'm
thing.
very
Don't
calm.
say a
I just
thing.
want to say one
Stay in
thing.
your place. No,
One
don't
thing.
say one thing.
Are
You're not
you
about to say a
able
thing.
to
You're not
answer
about to say a thing.
personal
Just calm
questions?
down. I'm going to explain
No,
to
if
you.
you
I'm going to
answer
explain
personal
to you
questions,
why.
I'll answer personal
I'm going to
questions.
explain to you why. I'm going to explain to
Answer
you why you're
personal
not able to
questions.
track my argument.
No, I don't need your
So
explanation. I need
you
you
can't
to answer
calm down.
personal
Just
questions,
young man, calm
and then
down, calm
I
down,
can answer personal questions.
calm
I'm
down,
very
calm
calm.
down,
I'm
calm
very
down.
calm. I'm
Okay,
just
by
saying,
calm down, I mean
I
stop
would like
talking right
you.
now. Stop
Okay,
talking.
go.
Just stop
Go
talking.
talk.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, you're not able to track what I'm actually asking you. You're saying if the woman ends up by herself, and I'm saying to you, in what scenario and what percentage of the time is the woman magically going to end up by herself and it's not of her making? For you to answer that, you would have to take on the assumption that she's already with a man, right? She's come out of the home of her father and she's with a man. So by with a man, if we want to look at data, we'd probably be looking at married women. So what you're essentially trying to establish to provide a meaningful argument is that married women can end up alone by no fault of their own, by no choice of their own in this percentage of the circumstances. What I told you is that married women end up alone 70% of the time because they chose that. And that's the unruly woman, that's the disobedient woman, that's the promiscuous woman, that's the incompetent woman. So you're arguing for the other 30% of the cases. And I'm asking you, well, how does that happen? And what percentage of cases is that? Is it 30%? Is it less? Is it more? So can you help me with a meaningful answer?
Yeah, in your own words, you said that your father was the alpha male and he had sired many children to many different women, right? So this is a position where you're basically saying the woman should just put up with that because the man is an alpha male, which is okay coming from
Sir,
the
are you going to
perspective of the
respond to
male.
my question, sir?
Yeah, I'm
Can you
responding to your
respond to my
question.
question?
I'm responding
Do you
to your
understand the
question. If you don't
question?
cut me off,
Do you
I allow you
understand
to
the
speak.
question?
Yes, I allow you to
You don't
speak.
allow
So you
anything. You
should
have no
allow me the
power.
courtesy.
You're not
You should allow
allowing
me the
anything.
courtesy
You
to
have no
speak. I am.
control.
I'm
You
allowing
don't
you to
allow
speak.
anything. No, you
I
don't. You have no
allowed you to speak.
control. You don't allow. Look, I just muted.
Okay, so I told you, these beta alpha arguments, red pill talking points, like these are so weird. And believe me, if they had any validity, I would have already been part of something like that. And these are usually from people, men who are mad at their moms, as I gave the different reasons, which he gave. He gave the reasons why he was mad at his mom. And one was his mom was disobedient, she was unruly, and his mom was promiscuous. Right? So that's why this guy, Marquette, doesn't like his mom. That's the reasons why he gave. He gave us three reasons. And he said it was one of three, but I suspect it was all three. And he has an issue with his mom. So therefore, when he talked to women, he was so scarred by his mom bringing a different boy, bringing different alpha males through the home. It is because your mom had you right, and she was promiscuous. That means every man, according to you, and according to your definition, what an alpha male is, every man your mom dated after your dad was a beta male. So your mom, you're a grown man. Your mom had about 10 different relationships with beta men who came to your house and probably spanked you. You dig? So you scarred. And when you talk to women, you talk to them as you see your mom through them on some Norman Bates type stuff. That you probably dress up like your mom. You dig? Just like Norman Bates. All right. I'm gonna start calling these red pill dudes the Norman Bates crew. They dress up like their mom in secret. Hey, lovely lady, come meet my mom. He goes in the attic, dressed up like his mom, and come back down with a hammer. Hello. The these folks are really weird. Okay. Okay. No, that man ain't married. The dude wanted to disclose his personal life. So in order to debate that fraud, um, he needs to know everything about you, how many kids you got, if you're a stepdad, if you're married, if you've been divorced. He want to know everything about you. And then believe me, you debate him, he's going to use that all against you. But you go to ask him, hey, bro, have you been married? Are you married? Do you have a family? Do you have a daughter? Do you have a baby mother? He'll tell you, like he told a guy, you got to go to his website, which is called Marketism. And his website represents everybody who follows him under Marketism. Like, so you follow a guy, oh my God, like the complete definition of a narcissist. You go to his website, Marketism, whatever. And in his website, they give a disclaimer that they don't give out their personal love lives. They don't talk about their kids and things like that to you guys because you are the enemy, and and they don't want you using it against them. So it's very likely everything that he argues about you and say you are because of your current condition, like you might have a kid, you might be a stepdad. He's likely all of that and his followers, but you'll never know because he don't disclose his personal life, his domestic life, his intimate life. But he wants to know yours though. I mean, that's a convenient position to have right there. Yeah, well, of course you become an alpha male by your own definition because we don't know anything about you to decide if you're not. But I want to go away from that. I want to do this right here. I want to do this. Yeah, this heat is heating up at 9 a.m. God damn. I want to bring you right here. Hmm. Here we go. Right here. Oh my God, man. Weirdo. There you go. A word from my sponsor. And that's why they catch L's when they call in. Yeah, that is the problem right there. And here's another problem. We ain't FBA. We've been here over 400 years, ethnogenesis, everything, but we're not FBA. We're not Native Black Americans. We're African. These guys just got to Britain the other day, and they're no longer African. They're Black Brits. They just got to America the other day, and they're no longer Haitian. They become a Black person. They call themselves. They watch. They watch. They buy a LeBron James jersey, and all of a sudden they're Black. But we ain't Black. We're African, and we ain't got no ties to Africa in our genealogy and our physicalness. We've been away from Africa over 400 years, but we're just African. But all these guys are now Black. Yeah, man. The gas lights, you dig? The gas lights are on, bruh. Okay. What about this one? What about this one? Let me make sure I pick the right one because there's so many. There's so many. I think this is it right here. Let's check it out. Okay, here we go. Oh, hold on. My fault, YouTube. My fault. Y'all can't hear it. Right. Tariq said revenues are fed. Oh, tell the new. Got a badge, man. Badge, my guy.
by the way he acts, but we don't know. But many
Yeah,
people
stop.
believe
Don't
revenue
put
is a Fed.
propaganda on my name.
But no,
Don't
you
put-
know, many people are saying that you are Fed revenue. You know, people are saying that.
Yeah, nobody says that. But I wanted to ask you though.
Yes, a lot of people have said that. Some of the shit you be saying and doing is real Fed-like. So a lot of people have said that you could be a Fed. And the fact that you tried to hide yourself and you got exposed and you look like a buzzard with an S curl. But go ahead, sir. What's on your mind?
Yeah, first I want to tell you, happy belated. I'm proud of the delineation movement because now that we get to see that, according to Pew Research Center, Black immigrants have a higher median income. We have higher college graduation rate. We have higher home ownership rate.
And then who? Other immigrants. First of all, there's no such thing as a black immigrant. There's African and Afro immigrants, but West Indian, Caribbean immigrants. But you got higher home ownership rates and college graduate rates than who? What did the research conclude?
So thanks to the delineation movement and the Pew Research Center, and according to the Cato Institute,
let me put the tether on mute.
So now notice I didn't hear who they're doing better than, right? Who is the comparison? Who are they comparing them to? He just talking.
Put it in context. Higher income, home rate, and all that. That means there's 40 niggas living in the house working for Uber. So yeah, the household income rate is going to be higher because it's a gang of y'all living in one house. Also, as far as education, y'all have the most fake degrees in the United States. Put all of that in context, sir. Don't leave out the fake degrees and the fake diploma mills and all of that stuff, sir. Put it all in context, Tethanu.
Well, that's your opinion. I'm
That's
going
not
off
an
the
opinion,
Pew
sir.
Research Center.
Y'all have fake diploma mills left and right. You're always getting busted for fake diplomas, right?
Well, that's your
not an opinion. That's not an opinion,
I'm
sir.
using a Pew Research Center for my.
I'm using crime statistics, sir.
I don't know your source. My source is Pew Research Center.
ABC News, the Associated Press. You can look up all of the scams that y'all have. Y'all tethers have all types of college degree scams, medical scams, diploma mills where you have fake degrees. Y'all lead in that, sir. This is not me an opinion. Now, what other lie do you want to tell?
Yeah, and now that we delineated, we're foundational to America too. The first.
No, you're not, sir. You can't be a foundational damn clear. You can't be a foundational immigrant. That's an oxymoron, sir.
Tariq, the first, we're the only Black people to find cities in America, like San Francisco was founded by William Alexander. A Haitian founded Chicago. We also built.
Okay, so what happens is a tether tells a lie over and over, and it becomes true in tether circles. There is zero proof. There is zero qualifying proof that determines the founder of Chicago was a Haitian. Secondly, what do they describe founding as? All right, so you can't take them as their words, face value. You got to ask them, how are you defining the word founded Chicago? Right? We got to ask, what does that mean? What goes into that? Define founding Chicago. Now, we know he's not Haitian, but let's just show that he's using words he can't explain. Founding Chicago, what does that mean? Let's start right there. How do you found Chicago? Like, hey, look at these people. That's like Christopher Columbus found America. Like, how do you found something? So these are some things that we would like to know from tethers.
Southern Florida, the Bahamians. So we are foundational to America. The first Black newspaper.
The first Black person in Florida to become a millionaire was Dana Dorsey, who was foundational Black American. If you built all of Florida, the first black man to be a millionaire in Florida was a foundational black American from Georgia, Dana Dorsey. Why is that?
And what year was that?
Well, in early 1900s.
Okay, Afro-Caribbean,
How come wasn't no Afro-Caribbean? If
Afro-Caribbean.
y'all were doing, see, y'all do all this building, but y'all never have nothing to show for it.
But I'm talking fact.
I'm telling facts.
Foundational.
Give me the names. Give me the names of these Bahamians.
It's a whole community.
No, give me a name, somebody.
We are the first two black millionaires. Foundational Afro-Caribbean. William Alexander and Jeremiah G. Hamilton is the first two black millionaires in American history.
Okay, so now notice how he's in. So the thing about Tether that he's very remedial. Like my man came straight off a boat. He used words interchangeably, incorrect. All right, so notice he'll say Bahamian, he'll say founded something, Florida, he'll say Chicago, he'll say Haitian founded something in Chicago, he'll say another delineating term founded something in San Francisco. And then when he wants to cosplay as one of us, he'll use the word black. So it's like, bro, you just use delineated terms to show who founded Chicago, Florida, a city in Florida, a city in Illinois, right? And a city in California. And you name their nationalities, their ethnicities. My God, why are you now just saying black for other people? So we want to know their ethnicities too. Don't just say black. Because a black person probably did found it, but that black person was Native Black American. So keep telling us the identities of people. Don't use flat black.
We also co-founded the first black
Robert Reed Church.
newspaper.
Robert Reed Church. No, Robert Reed Church.
What?
The brother? No, Robert Reed Church out of
Jeremiah
Memphis.
G. Hamilton and William Alexander are the first two black millionaires in American history. We are.
So notice how he just said black, flat black. What happened to their ethnicities and nationalities? What country are they from, my guy? So this is what he does. He go ask AI how to disguise the language to deceive us, to make us believe that when he say black, he's talking about some West Indian or African. And he's probably just talking about somebody right here that's foundational. But watch tethers like this that switch up the language mid-sentence. And Marquette, that scammer do the same thing.
Foundational to America. So
No, you're not. How come you weren't a
tether
millionaire?
on to our accomplishments
How come
no
you
more.
couldn't be a millionaire in your homeland then if you were doing all this? How come you didn't build your homeland like you built Chicago?
Well, you didn't. Well, you didn't build any cities.
How come you didn't build none of that shit there? How come you didn't build none of that? Okay, if you did all.
Okay, so family, did the Haitian guy found Chicago or did he build Chicago? You see? Building something and founding means discovery. I mean, look over there. Building something and founding something are two different actions. So I would ask Tether, hey, did Sable found Chicago or did he build it?
All that here, how come you didn't do that there?
We did. We got countries.
No, you didn't.
No,
What did you build there? What did you build there? How come there's dirt roads in shantytowns?
There is you have shanty towns in America.
Name them. Where black people live. Where?
What are you talking? Did you see Shannon Sharp house?
Where's a shantytown?
Shannon Sharp.
We don't live in. We never lived in.
That's a shanty town.
No, where? What city?
He's using an outhouse.
What
that was
city?
Okay, so another thing that tethers do is that when we say town is a place where many people live. So when we say shanty town, we're talking about a community of people living a certain way. These guys would say shanty town and point at one house. Okay, that's not a great comparison, my guy.
Southern Georgia.
That's
Georgia.
not a shanty town.
Yes, it was. He got an out. He was using an outhouse with a brother.
Georgia?
You see, he's saying shanty town, but pointing at a house.
Yeah, that was in Georgia.
He didn't live in no shanty town.
Yes, he did. He had an outhouse.
That's not a shanty town.
He don't have indoor.
That's not
plumbing.
a shanty town.
That's not a. His whole town was like that. What are you
That's
talking
not a
about?
shanty town, sir.
Okay,
That's like
so now when you say the whole town like that, now we can debate. But if you're talking about a house condition, okay, but that don't, one house condition, true or false, don't make it a shanty town. The whole town got to be like that. So now you say his whole town like that, now you messed up.
Using an outhouse.
That's a rural area. That's not a sense. See how these tethers
Bro,
be
that's
lying?
third world
That's
behavior.
called, he's just country as hell,
That's
but that ain't
third
no shanty
world.
town.
That's third world behavior.
Hey, that's another thing tethers do. You can't be a first world, partial third world. You're first world because everything about your homeland is first world. You can't be first world with third world nature. But, you know, third world people, they try to look at what they can relate to make them more comfortable because they're uncomfortable in the first world, in the first world country.
He was
No,
using
it's not,
he didn't
sir.
have indoor
No, it's
plumbing.
the third
He
world
didn't have
nothing. That's the
heating.
third world.
He didn't have air.
Nothing.
He didn't have ventilation. So he didn't have none of that. Tariq, what are you
Sir,
talking about?
he was country. They lived country as hell. That wasn't no shanty town.
That's America. What are you talking about?
No, it ain't, sir. We never lived in shanty town.
Outhouse is a shanty town.
That ain't no shanty town.
He said an outhouse is a shanty town. This is how silly this tether new guy is. That's why over here I expose him every time. I slow him down. I have him define things, bro. What's the definition of a shanty town? No, go look it up, and go look at the definition of a outhouse, and tell me an outhouse, one outhouse or two or three, does that make up a shanty town? Go ahead and Google that. See, I have him do that on the fly. I have him when I talk to Tether New, I have him use AI right in front of everybody. And I say, share your screen, Tether. Like that's why I call Tether New my pet monster. If you remember that dog, my pet monster, that's revenue. So you control it. You tell it what to do, and it follow your instructions. So when Tether New come over here, my pet monster, I tell him what to do. Go to AI. No, put this in here. Put what is the definition of an outhouse. Also, comma or semicolon, put what is the definition of a shanty town, and then how many does one outhouse in a town make it a shanty town? Like, and then I'll say, then put whatever else you want in there. Then you put what you want, but put what I want in there and put what you want and press enter. Let's read everything off. You dig? While he's sharing the screen, he got to read it off and hold the L in front of everybody. That's how I do my pet monster over here, aka Kwame. AKA revenue. That's how I do the bull over here.
Projection. That's not a shanty town, sir.
Yeah,
that's
so
still a bathroom. We didn't want to shit on the streets like you. No. You see how we built the place? No.
I named it two that we found.
No, sir. We built the place where we wouldn't have to shit on the streets like you. At least they built something to shit in instead of you just shitting on the sidewalk and walking off like nothing happened, sir. There's a real big difference. You understand that?
Name a city that FBA found.
What's the shanty town, sir? You said Shannon Charlie. Okay, name the areas of shanty towns that we live in. Name the areas.
That y'all live. It's plenty of places.
Name them.
All across you know, the antebellum South. There's plenty of third world, no internet.
Name the city.
No access.
Name the town. Name the town.
Yes, they don't internet.
I don't. Just look up where Shannon Sharp is from.
By tether. Okay, you ain't gonna just sit here trying to think of a lie. See, boy, these lying ass tethers. Listen, foundational Black American, don't ever let these tethers lie on us. We ain't never lived in no goddamn shanty towns as foundational Black Americans. We have never ever lived in shanty towns. We ain't never really lived raggedy like that. You understand? We've never been a dirty people. We don't, foundational Black Americans, where do we live where there's a bunch of trash and all that? We don't live like that. We've never lived like that. Stop bullshitting. We ain't never lived like that. When? Go look at old pictures of your families, ladies and gentlemen. Go look at pictures of your family from the 40s and the 50s. I guarantee you they were clean as damn hell.
Family, I know a lot of drug addicts and alcoholics that won't leave out the house without looking like fresh. And I be impressed. Like, wow, they do on that narcotic, do it on that substance, and he still won't walk out the house less than.
I guarantee you they were dressed to the damn nines. They were clean. We always had a clean culture as foundational Black Americans. We don't have a shanty town culture.
No, sir.
Yeah, in rural areas, we built an outhouse. Yeah, we ain't trying to shit on the streets like these tethers. We ain't never lived raggedy. Y'all know growing up, we prided ourselves on being clean. We couldn't go out the house and not be clean. It was looked down upon in our culture. That's where the roasting and the snapping came in. You would get roasted to oblivion if you came out looking dirty and dusty. Y'all know what it is. We had to come out the house fresh, clean clothes. We couldn't be ashy. Y'all know we couldn't go out the crib ashy. Our parents wouldn't let us go out like that, our grandparents. Now, you might go out and play and come home looking rough, but you ain't leaving the house looking fucked up. That ain't our culture. Even in the South. You ain't gonna lie on the South. My family's from the South. You go look at civil rights footage. Them people were clean as hell. Always been. We ain't never been no raggedy ass people. We ain't never been a dirty people. We've been very, very clean. Always. And I mean, you know what's interesting? You know the people who were dirty, because I went to school, I was born in Detroit, but
Anybody that's Native Black American, foundational, before he even finished that sentence, when he said, you know the people who were dirty, we all got the same answer. Whitey people, because we lived with them. We seen how dusty they were, you dig? So this was a unanimous answer. Only Native Black Americans could have sat here and said, the answer to this question are whitey people. These are the people who were dirty. We looked at them like, ew. Hands dirty, feet dirty, everything about them dirty in the classroom. But you got to be a Native Black American to know that. You can't be a recent immigrant.
Sent me down to Alabama. So I was living in Leeds, Alabama. You know the people who went to school dirty and raggedy? The white tea kids.
Right. That's common sense.
Ironically, tethers like to make believe that the white tea people are the bearer of civilized standards or whatever. Dude, have y'all been to school with white tea kids in the South growing up?
Yes, sir.
How many of y'all went to school with the white tea kids in the South? They were filthy growing up.
Fact.
Dude, they were living in trailer parks, coming to school stinking, wouldn't brush their teeth, didn't have deodorant.
Hands dirty, feet dirty.
That was
Face
them.
dirty.
Not us. Yeah, they would have lice. They couldn't come to school because they had lice. It was all types of shit. They would get.
Now, I talked about this before. An immigrant can't tell you about the lice head checks. This is something only Native Black Americans could talk about, the lice head checks. So anybody who went to like a school that had a significant amount of white tea people, you would know that they'll have you line up. The nurse will have y'all line up in the hallway, long hallway, have you line up by ones or twos, 2x2s, and they will check your head for lice, head lice. Okay? Now, if you're a Native Black American, you knew your head never got checked. They just pulled you out of line right as soon as they seen you. Pull Ron out. They'd be like, pull Ron out of line. Why the hell is he in line in the first place? You dig? So anybody that actually experiences, they know if you're a Native Black American, you know your head never got checked. They immediately pulled you out of line. And they checked all the white tea people. And at a very young age, I knew we were different. All right, damn. Like, I didn't know what lice was, but I knew it was something bad. You dig? I knew it wasn't good. I knew it was something that ain't supposed to be in your hair. And they ain't checked my hair at all. And this is every white tea school I went to. And this is every year they do the lice check. Or every so often they do the lice check. I know that my head never got checked. So I knew early on, we're different.
Poison ivy and shit. All types of little weird shit happening with them. That wasn't us. I remember them having to quarantine some of those kids because of head lice and all rickets and all types of weird shit. That wasn't us. Ringworm and certain kids they couldn't come to class because they had lice. Was never the black kids.
Nah.
Let's be real. All that was them. That wasn't us. Yeah, the kids would be chewing tobacco. I had white kids in my class with tobacco in their mouth. How many of y'all had them kind of kids in your class? I'm talking about this is elementary school, y'all.
Crazy.
This ain't even high. We had kids in white tea kids in elementary school sitting up next to us with snuff and tobacco in their mouth. Am I lying, Southern folks? Who's at my door? Where my Southern people? Tell me if I'm fucking lying. Because I know some of y'all went to school with them. Not only that, they had spit cups too.
That's nasty.
Hold on. Who is it? Hold on.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't never experienced that.
Baby, right, hold. Come on. There we go. What y'all doing up there?
Nothing.
You all right? Come on. You all right? All right, boy. That's my son. Nigga, not only were they spitting tobacco and stuff, they had damn spit cans. Boy, tell me I'm lying, y'all. Y'all know I ain't lying. You talking about some dirty ass people. Man, these people would do some of the most nasty, grimiest shit. Ain't nobody say nothing about us. At all. Can't nobody say a damn thing about us, ladies and gentlemen. We ain't in no damn shanty town. We ain't never been lived like that. We ain't never been dirty. Even the gangsters, people like talk about, but y'all niggas got Bloods and Crips. Have y'all seen some real Bloods and Crips, nigga? The Bloods and Crips, nigga, they dress impeccably clean. Even their khakis are creased. Nigga, I knew Crips and Bloods who sit up and iron their damn pants and put starch on their damn khakis before they went out gangbanging. Niggas gonna have some fresh ass damn Cortezes on.
Another Gotham chess opening.
Nigga, stop playing. Nigga, I knew Bloods and Crips who made sure they had pressed t-shirts and khakis. They went out the crib clean, nigga. You can't even disparage our gangbangers. Nigga, white t-shirt, crisp as hell, not a spot on it. The hell you talking about? You nigga, our gangbangers are clean. Yeah, the bandanas are ironed. Stay the hell out of here. You dig? Stop playing. We all stay clean. That's foundational Black American culture. We stay clean. We've always been clean. You ain't gonna call up projecting that filth on us. We ain't sitting around shitting on corners. Well, these tethers always trying to project their little third world shit onto us. They want us to be third world too. No, we're the only first world melanated people on the planet. Yeah? Man, but yeah, go look at some pictures of your family from the 30s, 40s, 50s. They were clean as hell. That's our culture. Man. Let me see. Because if we weren't clean, you're going to get your ass roasted. You didn't want that roasting now. That's a part of our culture. You get roasted for not being fresh. Nigga, you better not, man, at my school, as hard as we roast people, you better not show your ass up looking raggedy. Oh, we'll have a field day with you. So we kept each other on point. You understand? You didn't want a piece of that roasting. That's why tethers be so mad and so traumatized, because again, they had to come over. They would wear raggedy clothes that were outdated. Their parents would cut their hair, wouldn't take them to the barbershop so their hairlines would be fucked up. So niggas would roast them to oblivion. And that shit traumatized them because they didn't have the wherewithal to just get it right. So that roasting that they got it traumatized them. And they really have a bug in the ass about the sisters, because it's really bad getting roasted by a sister. That's why those tether dudes, they got a real bug in the ass about FBA women. Because they probably had a crush on a little FBA. You in school, you got little crushes. And the FBA girls, boy, they'll let you know. Boy, they will break your damn spirit, them little FBA girls, nigga. Oh, they'll break your damn spirit. Because they'll tell you exactly what's wrong. Hello, Chiquita, I have a crush on you. Dude, it turned out you musty, though. I don't talk to boys who's musty. Shit, this a kata girl. She told you were musty. She told you your teeth were crooked. She's gonna tell you what's fucked up about you. And they got a bug in their ass about them sisters to this day. Yeah, but that roasting that kept you on point. We all got roasted. See, the thing is with y'all tethers, y'all bullied me. You didn't get bullied. Your dumbass got roasted. We all got roasted. If you came to school out of pocket, you gonna get roasted, dude. So you just get your shit right and roast back. Yeah, that's what it was. Oh yeah, the women be mad too because the women be getting roasted. They got roasted. Coming to school wearing them Supremes wigs. Your mama had you in a wig and y'all looking crazy. Yeah, you got lit up. You got lit the hell up. That's what happens. Man, okay, well, it's raining out here now. Well, this weather out here now in Japan is real funny style. Can y'all hear the rain in the back? All right, let me get some family in here. Y'all raise the hands. We got a lot of people in the room. Y'all raise those. Yeah, there's some kind of siren. I don't know what's happening. All right, y'all raise your hand. Yeah, I'm in Japan right now. For those who don't know, I'm in Japan. That's why I didn't do a live in a couple of days because the time, it's a major time difference. It's a major time difference over here. Yeah, it's a whole different day. I'm a day ahead of you guys. It's Friday afternoon over here right now. Let me see. All right. Yes, I'm in Tokyo, Japan right now. I'm in Tokyo, Japan. Let me see. Japan is good, man. I'm having a good time out here. Japan is very clean, extremely clean. Hot as shit. It's extremely hot out here. It is scorching hot in Japan, man. This is a different kind of heat. It's very humid, very hot. But very nice, very clean out here. Very clean. All right. I'll be here for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I did just vacation with the family. Yes, indeed, vacationing with the family. All right, y'all raise the hand. Let me get y'all up here. Yeah, they're extremely clean. Yeah, they don't play that trash stuff. It's very clean here. Let's get Luke. Let me just get a bunch of people. Luke, hop on in, Luke. I'm gonna just start hitting the button and getting folks in. Luke, what's up, Luke? All right. Oh, we got Cousin Jerry in the building. Let me get Cousin Jerry. Cousin Jerry, hop on in, Cousin Jerry.
Hey, Flex.
Hey, Cousin Jerry, what's going on with you, brother?
Nothing much, man. How's it going?
I'm good. Everything is good. What's happening?
Nothing. I wanted to tell you the quick story. I think you had went back to Birmingham when they installed the carpets in the school.
Okay.
And they raised money. We were modernizing the school. They had said if you get caught with the spit cups or the spit can, they were going to suspend you.
That's so
And
nasty.
so we put carpet in the school. So about the middle of the semester,
I can't hear that. I can't hear that.
having to shut the school.
Yeah, that's so nasty.
Yeah,
That's
dude, down in Alabama. Well, we went to school with some hillbillies, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
We went to school with some hillbillies that had smells on them that was out of this world. I love TikTok.
That's the room appetite for today.
Whereas we couldn't go, man, our grandmother wouldn't let us go out the house raggedy. But we had to be clean and Vaselined up, hair fresh. We had to be fresh coming out the house. Man, come on. Well, y'all hear this thundering out here? I wish I could show y'all my view. Okay, but this rain is heavy. I feel like Godzilla about to walk through the city. All right, let me see who we got. All right, let me see. Yeah, it's thundering. It's y'all hear that thunder out here in Japan? Yeah, man. Is it monsoon season? All right. Y'all, if I get swept away, y'all come send somebody to get me. Y'all get a boat out here and come find my ass. If I get caught up in a monsoon or a tsunami, dude. All right. Man.
Hey, what's going on, Kel?
What's up, Chief?
How you pronounce your name?
Kaleidoscope.
Oh, cloud. Okay. It's tiny. I could barely see it. What's on your?
Yeah. Nah, I
Your
was just expanding on what the brother Tariq had said the other day about black entertainers supporting Africa. It was USA for Africa, and then Stetsasonic had a song called Africa Too.
really?
So
Yeah.
look it up. They had a whole song, and we were supporting them.
What
So
about X Clan?
yeah, I think it was some stuff in there where they were supporting Africa.
They're red, they're black, and they're green with the key. Yeah.
And so
They had the African emblems and everything on.
So yeah, they black entertainers, especially because I grew up in that area where hip hop was supporting apartheid over there. So yeah, I was just expanding on what he had said like the other day.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm with this whole thing, man. I love the conversation that Tariq has opened up, man, and it's gonna galvanize a lot of these youngsters, man. I like that, and I ain't never had nothing to latch on to because I was in the early days of Sonetta watching it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it really heightened my consciousness, but I still felt out of place. I'm like, man, this don't sound right. But then when this came along, man, I was like, wow.
Right.
You know, we really got something here, and it's gonna separate us from everybody else.
Yeah, because
I really love it, man.
yeah, because Sadat was pushing that. He was heavy trying to push that African as a religion on folks. Right. Like in the sense of to worship Africa, not even like acknowledge it and learn, but he was pushing it as though like these are our gods and goddesses, and we need to reference them at all costs. Yeah.
I was in it like Brother Polite and City, and I was in all that stuff, but I was like, something wasn't hitting it. And then all the views and the old boy got sent to jail for some felonious shit. I was like, excuse me, I mean, because he got sent to jail for some crazy shit.
Right. Which is the story of Pan-Africans. They usually go to jail for things like that. Something disturbing. Like you look at all their leaders. Look at Marcus Garvey. Look at Umar ending. It ain't looking so good. You dig? So
exactly.
Yep.
I just want to thank Brother Tariq and everybody that's on this, and hey man, it's a beautiful thing for real.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, man. All right, peace. Okay. We got Yak Films here. Yak, what's going on, Yak Films? You probably got to speak up. That other dude's kind of loud. You kind of low.
Pardon me. Yeah, what's good, bro? How you doing?
I'm feeling good. They just getting started.
Shit. It's like a space.
Okay. Oh, okay. I got you, Sam. Yeah.
Trying to listen in on anything. I got to do reparations. So
Yeah.
any updates? Otherwise, I'm gonna do my research this morning.
Yeah. We touch on reparations a lot. But there's no reparations. But there's no reparations without delineation because people got to know who to cut the check to. So without us being officially delineated, anybody hand out there can potentially grab onto that check. So we got to officially get delineation correct, who's getting paid and who ain't. Then we move on to the next steps. But reparations is usually the last step. We got to get identification correctly, eligibility, all that stuff got to be laid out, and we're doing that. Yes, sir. Okay, so I want to revisit something, right? Let's revisit something.
Kwame, let's get Kwame. I'll get you back in a minute. Kwame.
Hey, Tariq, what's going on?
What's up, man? How you doing, Kwame?
I'm good. I wanted
this revenue, you sound like revenue. This revenue?
Yeah, my other page restricted. I wanted to ask you something.
God damn, revenue. Let's see revenue. And by the way, family, revenue is a Jamaican debit, but go ahead. Some people believe that revenue might even be a Fed by the way he acts, but we don't know. But many people believe revenue
don't put propaganda on my name.
But no, you know, many people are saying that you are Fed revenue. You know,
nobody said that. But I wanted to ask you though.
Yes, a lot of people have said that. Some of the shit you be saying and doing is real Fed-like. So a lot of people have said that you
That's a fact.
and the fact that you tried to hide yourself and you got exposed and you look like a buzzard with an S curl. But go ahead, sir. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Further, I want to tell you, happy belated. I'm proud of the delineation movement because now that we get to see that, according to Pew Research Center, Black immigrants have a higher median income. We have higher college graduation rate. We have higher home ownership rate. So thanks to the delineation movement.
All right. So let me come back to this. Okay, hold on. So this is what I say that I expose revenue the best. Like there's literally no wins in Mikasa. Every time he called up over here, it's been one-sided debates. Okay, so now he said the Pew Research Institute. So I like to address his research. Okay. Now I know things because I talk about a lot over here, right? So revenue implies something. He indirectly said, but he implied it, which led us to infer his implications, right? So he tried to say that there's some immigrant stats. He was implying that there are some African Caribbean stats that are compared to Native Black Americans without actually saying that. He was implying that. Now I know this. I know Pew and researchers using census data compare they don't compare foreign immigrants, African Caribbean, with Native Black Americans. I know that. You know why? Because we haven't delineated. So there's no information that directly speaks exclusively and directly speaks to Native Black Americans. Okay. The government census generally cannot cleanly compare African Caribbean immigrants with lineage-based us, Black Americans. Okay. There's no federal data that contains the standard of a freedman, right? That's it. I know that. I know that there's no clean comparison. Why do I say that? Because in the black stat that they would lie to you and say is us, they're in that too. So they're in the immigrant stat and they're in the flat black stat. They're in both stats. So I had Revenue call up 2 Sundays ago after he was on Tariq, and I brought this back up and I cooked him and he chimped out and hopped off. Or I kicked him off. Okay, so government data sets can disaggregate. Listen, they disaggregate by race. They can by race, birthplace, nativity, and ancestry, citizenship, and year of immigration. Okay, Pew can use those data to compare immigrants versus us. But again, that still won't be a clean comparison between immigrants and us because they are whatever. However, we're categorized. Remember, we're categorized as a race. Immigrants are categorized as birthplace, ancestry, things like that. So they got their own classification, like foreigners. They're classified as foreigners. But in the black stat, those same immigrants and their kids are in the black stat. That's why, like revenue, that doesn't work over here. All right. Now they talk about shanty towns. One in revenue talk about Shannon Sharp House, and that he said that one rural house that Shannon Sharp lived in justifies a shanty town. Okay. I don't know how one house makes up a whole town, but whatever. All right. So now revenue talks about the Pew Research Center. He talks about these are private, non-profit research organizations. He talks about the Cato Institute. And then you have government. Outside of that, you have government institutions that do the same thing. But what data sets are they looking at? Okay. So even though the Pew Research Center is a private or nonprofit organization, so is the Cato Institute, what data sets are they looking at? Are they doing their own research or are they looking at the government data sets to make a conclusion? Okay. So you gotta and for the most part, they are looking at government data sets who do not cleanly distinguish immigrants from Native Black Americans. Okay. Okay. All right.
Hey, can I say one thing about that too?
Sure. Go ahead.
In the 1940s, the Japanese Americans who were interned, when they were released, the American government used the immigration system to bring over Japanese of higher economic and higher education status. Sometimes they had $1 million in the bank. Sometimes they had master's degrees. They did that to hide the economic depravity they had done against those who they had interned by skewing the numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
That's called
So
masking numbers. Hey, bro, that's called hyper selectivity.
now they're doing that in modern day
Yes.
with our community.
Yeah. Yes, bro. That's called. I gave the term for it. That's called. I talk about this all the time for like 2 years.
Hey, imagine that a Japanese person came after internment ended, with $1 million in the bank, and he was like, "America's a land of opportunity. I don't know why these Japanese who are interned are complaining. Like,
Right.
look at the Japanese numbers. We got millions. We getting all these college degrees.
Right.
But you coming with the degrees, bro, and trying to
Right.
flex on people who you're stepping over in their own homeland.
Yep.
Come on.
And the proper term is called hyper selectivity. So when it comes to immigration, you got two type of immigrants. You got hyper selective or hyper selected immigrants, and you have humanitarian immigrants. So a lot of the Africans that come over here, the Chinese and the Indians, they're hyper selected. They're not humanitarian. So hyper selected means they come over here with wealth already and a high education, doctorate degrees, masters. So that means they got it in their homeland. They didn't get it over here in America, right? So they didn't pull up their bootstraps in America. They came here with it already, and they're invited to white tea society. These are the people. These are the immigrants that Republican conservatives favor. Okay. Then you got humanitarian immigrants who come over here, TPS status, refugees, evacuees, asylees, those people. And these are the people that the Democratic liberals usually favor. All right. But these are the poor people who need resources that typically pull from our resource pool, right? For resources. And they usually live with us. These are the people that the higher society, the Republican conservatives who don't want to live next to. They want to live next to the hyper selected, highly educated, but they don't want to live next to the poor people who are poor minded, no education. Yep. I definitely talk about that often. And that's what he did to us. That's why we're delineating, because they're masking our systemic racial outcomes. So they'll look at right. So they'll look at our stats and see how bad they are, and to justify reparations, they'll import a whole bunch of hyper selected immigrants from Kenya and Africa who got a Nigeria, whatever, who has high degrees, and they bring them over here to skew the numbers, right, to make it look better than what it is. And also, Harvard would say, "Hey, we got some blacks enrolled in Harvard," but it won't be the targeted people, which is Native Black Americans. It'll be the immigrants who are under the black racial category that they're admitting. So they're still ignoring the targeted people by selecting other people who are brown skin or dark that classifies as black, and they'll reward them. They'll admit them. They'll give them it, but it's still not giving it to the people who is entitled.
To your point about delineation, I have a theory, and I'm pretty sure I can find statistics that help us understand this.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who come to America and are classified or self-classified as, BLK/African American, they raise our crime statistics as well as lower our literacy rates. Michael, are you taking a bath?
Hey, Michael, go on mute real fast. My God. I don't think he meant to come on. I think it's like, I think he's liking the video and he hit the accept, invite.
Okay. Just in Florida, I've heard that there were Haitian gangs fighting against Jamaican ones, and in my understanding, our criminal justice system would consider those as BLK on BLK violence.
Yeah,
crime.
yeah, because
That's not freedmen.
Right, because our government don't classify things as freedmen. Our government classify things as racial. Right, all of it will be added in there. Even the whole crack epidemic. That was something that was the crack epidemic was something pushed 50% CIA and 50% Jamaicans. I'm not making this up. Go look it up. Jamaicans were largely responsible for the entire crack. We're talking about import export. Okay, Jamaica. They got the crack from Jamaica. 50% of it. So 50% CIA, 50% Jamaican, but we get the blame because we are the face of the black racial group.
In New York, they had this city council meeting that went viral because this lady was demanding that they spend $1 billion more on the ESL programs, the English as a Second Language program, because people who were coming to America, their children weren't able to read at certain grade levels and stuff because they weren't speaking English at home. And that we as Americans needed to do more to understand the unique dialects in the ESL program. And I was like, why don't y'all learn English?
Right.
What are you talking about? And it made me wonder, when we talk about literacy rates, black kids can't read at the 5th grade reading level and stuff like that. I'm like, are y'all talking about freedmen? Or y'all talking about people who don't even speak English?
Right. So here's the gaslight. The gaslight, they would say that this from where I'm getting on revenue when he called in last 2 Sundays ago. So the gaslight is people will look at that and say and conclude freedmen when the data don't do that. The data does not disaggregate. The data aggregates everybody. We are demanding delineation, which demands disaggregation. We want to look at what directly speaks to us and what doesn't. And you got Tether's arguing against that. So they can't make the argument that we have a low reading level, whatever, but then be against this aggregation, because we want to make sure that this is directly speaking to the lineage and not including these fleeing tethers.
Facts. So I just think, when you mention delineation, it makes me think about crime statistics and it makes me think about literacy rates. Those are 2 things I go to.
Yeah, so the thing is, you won't find no right. The thing is, you won't find no stat like that unless you do the stats yourself, because everybody's looking at all these private, non-profit organizations. They're looking at the same data sets that's coming from the government. The government don't look at people like look at differences like that. They look at race. So race is anybody from Africa, Thousand Islands, Brazil, even Latinos can classify as black. And that's how they look at it all, at this one racial group, and they spread the stats to all of us equally under race, under the black race.
Nicki Minaj, she posted her mugshot. She was arrested at 12 years old with a baby. And it said that her race was BLK. And I was like, nah, ain't she supposed to be from Trinidad or whatever? Like,
so that's the thing, though. That's the thing, though. Race is going to include, race is something that okay. So we're getting flagged. We're talking about race, but when you TikTok flagged us that we're talking about race. No, but race would include her, right? Now, race is something made up by white people, which are racist. So it's no mistake. Racist people make up a racial groups, right? So racist group, all people they believe to have African phenotype or ancestry, all is black. So Nicki Minaj will fit into the white tea classification of black race.
Yeah, she's still not a U.S. citizen for like 20 something years. Don't come American.
Yeah,
we're supposed to look at that and say,
yeah, a lot of us want her up out of here, and but I'm sure she's paying like she weighed to stay in this country.
I'm just saying, like, if we should say that the Trinidadian American was called with a pew pew, not a BLK person.
Right.
That would make us think we're talking about an American.
Right, and that's the whole point of delineation, because now they're saying Haitian. On my YouTube community post, all I do is post the delineating terms of how these guys are being categorized today. So they will say Haitian man, Jamaican man, Nigerian did this. So they are using delineating terms to hold the people accountable for the crimes they commit for their ethnic group.
Especially when they talking about deportation. They be saying where they be getting deported to.
Oh, yeah.
Now we know where they from.
Yeah, right. And a lot of them get deported to some place in South Africa when their country don't want them.
I was in a space last night where a lady was talking about remittances and how people keep sending their money out the country.
Remittance, right?
Yeah. And we was saying, shout out to Trump, I guess, because his big beautiful bill has a 3.5% tax on all remittances.
Oh yeah,
it need to be 30.
yeah, yeah. That's a fact. Right. So, and this is why a lot of them have an issue with the Trump administration, but things like that. And again, that's back to my point. Like the conservatives don't really value humanitarian immigrants. They only value
refugees, right?
Yeah, the refugees, evacuees, asylees. They only really value the ones who come here who are not a burden to the economy, and the ones who are not seen as a burden to the economy are those who are hyper selected. But you said earlier about the Japanese coming after the internment camps. And look, and last thing is this: the people I've got to add this there. The people who are hyper selected, they are the top 1% of the country. So when you see Chinese people over here, Indians and Africans, that's fitting that. Like these ain't the norms. Like these are the outstanding 1%. So that's like people filtering Jay-Z, a bunch of Chinese and Black American billionaires and saying, hey, they represent all of Black America. Right. They represent all of Black America. That's what they're doing with their 1%.
I was saying, imagine that the Japanese who came over here after were trying to speak for the entire lineage of Japanese living in America. Like, speak for yourself. But don't say, like, it's been easy living here as a Japanese when the internment happened. So that's what Revenue's doing. He's like, look at how we got all these degrees and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, bro, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's by design. You know what I'm saying? It's a model minority myth. You try to raise the numbers to make it seem like you didn't harm us, but really they're helping people who they didn't even harm.
Right. I even asked Revenue. I said, Revenue, who's in that we got degrees category? I even went that far with him. And he tried to say immigrants. I said, yeah, what percentage of those were Jamaican, Haitian, or dude, probably zero. Like the hyperselected class don't come from the island or Haiti. They normally come from Africa. So we're talking about African descendant people. The hyperselected people normally comes from Africa.
No disrespect, but I'm gonna say them degrees is fake too.
And the degrees are actually in question for some of them, but not. But there is a 1% class of everybody. So
over 700 people were caught getting fake nurses licenses in Florida. They had a long list of their names, and it was all Nigerian ass names.
Yeah, now, but you got to compare. I agree, but you got to compare 700 to like 1 million. Like I think like 1 million of them. Like, you got to compare like what's the ratio? That's like a tiny percent of the whole. So that could be true, and it's still a tiny percent of those who got it legitimately.
But I'm saying, how can it's so hard to come to America, but they got 15K in the bank to pay for a fake nursing license? 700 people got 15K.
Now, I suspect liberals are paying for them. That's what I suspect. I suspect liberals are covering that cost. Yeah, yeah. They paying. They putting that there. So yeah, but the same way they put it, the Somali scams and everything they got. They government money misappropriated, misapplied.
For USAID, they said it was like billions going to one church in Texas that was like a Catholic church, because it was flying people from the continent if they they had fear for their life. But you could say that being, you know what I'm saying, homo meant that you have fear for your life in some of these countries. And or if they say that they are surviving AIDS, literally, that they could come to America to receive better treatment. So it's like a life or death situation for them. So this Catholic church was bringing them, and guess where they would house them when they got here to America? In the BOK community.
Of course.
So they bringing people with with disease to get treatment here in America and put them in our community, bro. That's some Tuskegee stuff.
Yeah. Thank you. That is. Yeah, I gotta look that up. What's that called again?
It was a Catholic church in Texas. It's like the Catholic services. I could pull it up on my Twitter because it was a long thread. But they were talking about USAID and all the money that had been spent. But this was talking about an internal organization. Normally, we're talking about money being spent in other countries, in Peru and stuff like that. But for this, it was Catholic Church Services of America or something like that. Again, it was like $1 billion they got to bring people to the country if they either had a fear for their life or they had a disease that was, more treatable here in America. And essentially that was AIDS and that was people being gay. And just fear for their life because it's a crime.
GAY. You can't say that. I'm already getting restricted as we're talking.
Yeah. Almost better.
No, yeah, that's just as bad. Just say, just spell it out.
You need to know. They say those two things. They get to come to America and end up in art.
Yeah, I gotta look into that. I gotta look into that. That sounds great. Yeah, I could believe it. Sounds crazy, but I would like to get the specific detail.
The pastor, like the main, like the father, I think it's a lady too. Like a short hair, you know what I'm saying? I like the church.
And what state was this?
In Texas, but it's a huge church. I can go to the info.
Texas Catholic Church. And these people are from Africa or Haiti.
And my understanding was Africa, because there's laws against it. And there's, we always say like, that disease comes from the continent, so let's help them touch it.
Yeah, it does. They got the disease from eating monkey brain. Let me see. Shit. Take that. African refugees. Damn, why I keep doing that? Who are
I got a bookmark about to put up.
either? I got it. Either gang or let's look at this. This is crazy. It's true. Okay. So what did you get? Read what you got.
So I'm just going back to my bookmarks. I know it looks like it's
Yeah, 'cause that sounds crazy. Like, cause again, I'm a guy who studies like you don't know this, but I study the history of immigration in America, and I know how people get over here. And like, you need immigration. Yes. Okay. And you need immigration at some point to approve this. Like a Catholic church just can't say, "Hey, we're taking people and bring them into America." At some point, immigration gotta be involved, and these folks gotta be classified as something coming over here. Obviously, there'll be humanitarian immigrants, but and you said Texas Catholic Church, there will be a number. It won't be an unlimited number. How many are supposed to have come to the church? How many Africans do you think?
actually, because we were talking about the funding they were receiving from the federal government through USAID. I did find the post right here, so I'm gonna pull it up, but I know it meets me when I go to other apps.
Not right now. No, we're gonna.
It's the Catholic Charities Diocese of. It was $278 billion to the Catholic Charities Dionysus of Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay. Now,
this was a program called Refugee Resettlement for 2024, and it was to 278 billion.
Right.
And this is so how many people came from the continent?
So
this is over a 20-year period, I believe.
So here the question would be: well, these refugees. Okay, so did the church establish itself for people who are already here, or were they responsible of their presence in America on top of everything?
No, my understanding, the church was like, we're going to start a program as a nonprofit to help people in missionary spots in other countries come to America where it's safe for them. But it can be, in the hands of God. They come to our church and donate to us. So it's one way ticket that people can come here if they say they're Catholic. And
now that part sounds a little crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Now, if you said, or now if we read that, that's crazy. If that's true, that's crazy. But what would make more sense to me is that there are refugees here that's HIV infected and whatever else, and then the church got funds to assist them. Like that would be normally how it's done. But when you are the reason, when you're the reason for why they even getting over here, and you're doing all that, that's like crazy. That's more like that's I can't say more than that's crazy for that to play out that way. That's normally not how they get over here. Yeah, but I'll look it up later.
I'll link for it so you can see it directly.
Okay.
Twitter.
I can't. I gotta get into my laptop. I got a brand new phone, and it makes it. But when you have a new device, not logging your old stuff, it makes it almost impossible. Oh, one.
If you're here as a tourist, just
Oh,
moving
yeah.
around in the city and you witness a crime or you're a victim of
Oh, the U visas. The U visas. Yeah, the U visas.
and
Yeah,
dude was lying for 10 years, bringing these people into the country by just saying, they saying was going to get robbed. Who were they saying was committing the crime?
Oh, yeah. Now that's true. Right. So now I compare that to a fleeing tether. So like a Haitian. Okay. So what happens is, in order for a fleeing tether to seek refuge in America or asylum, to become an asylum seeker in America, they gotta snitch on somebody back in their homeland. So they gotta make somebody innocent the culprit, right? So they gotta put a target somebody back and make them look bad, right? So in the Haitian case, they're saying Jimmy Barbecue, and in other cases, they name some of their leaders and they put a target on their back. That's why when they go back home, yeah, you're going to be met with a hard iron fist. So here in America, the immigrants do their version of it, where they get the U visas by witnessing crime, a violent crime, or saying they were part of a violent crime, right? And they normally almost always use the black race to say they were involved in that criminal violent activity. That's almost always. So that's like says like how can we ever link up or respect or even want these folks in America when their stay is at our expense, our image expense.
This idiot on the subway and was making these false statements.
Yeah, I know about that one.
He was paying them $10K per statement for people to get into the country. So the cops are going to jail. It's 15 of them that indicted. But I'm just saying, like, for 10 years he was doing this. Like, again, it's opportunism, it's scammerism, it's disrespectful. And I don't know.
Yeah, and it's all at our image expense as the black people of the race, and that's why I don't like to loosely give out black to immigrants because we become the face of it, and then they could take it off like they did before. They told us in the '90s and early 2000s they ain't black, they're Jamaican. I ain't black, I'm African. I ain't black, I'm Asian. Right? Then now Donald Trump's in office and he's sending people back to their homelands. Now all of a sudden everybody black. And then when a liberal get back in office, right, and extend temporary stay and all this and protects them, everybody gonna be not black again. So the fact that you can do that back and forth is some of the main reasons why I say you ain't black, because we can't take our blackness off. It's there forever. No matter where we go in this, no matter where we go in this world, we'll be known as Black Americans. We can't take on new terms like them.
That's what I was gonna say. Ain't that what Revenue's doing? He wants to bring up black college graduation success rates, but doesn't want to mention BOK and BOK crime. Because then we can start talking about the Haitian and Jamaican fights.
Right.
He don't want to talk about that. He want to talk about when he wants to say black BOK when it's a good thing for him to be
Right.
included, but doesn't want to include himself in those bad
Yep.
statistics. When it's really them doing those bad
Right.
statistics.
It's they all do that, and that's why Revenue, when he come over here, he doesn't have a great time, bro. Because all I do is deal with the scholarship. I don't do the name calling. All I do is debunk him logically and informationally. I seen where I said you pull it up. I said Revenue, go find that. We'll pull that up, and most likely he's misrepresenting what he read, because Revenue has a proven track record, at least over here, that he's remedial. He really don't understand the stuff he reads. Like, he has not proven to be competent on the things that he claims he knows. Because I asked him, Reverend, what does that mean? Like, even the live that he did with Tariq, I brought that back up. And I asked him what certain stuff was. He didn't know what it was. Like, so how are you debating this stuff? You don't know what it is. So we call him remedial revenue. Yeah, it's just a
It's a whole day.
right.
You got to put in the same people and keep dunking on it. Like,
Yeah.
just fall back.
Yeah, and like that's the corny part. Like, that's boring. Like, you come back on with a whole nother voice, whole nother name, and I got to debate you again. And sometimes I might not even remember I debated you before. Yes, yes, right. So I got to debate you a whole time again. Before I know it, in midway debate, I realize who you are. I kick you off. I ain't about to do this damn. And like you have a lot of people on TikTok that try me again. And sometimes, depends on the day, I might need that extra content, and I'll take them again. But most times I don't, because we don't, they don't stand on information. So, and I make the arguments easy for them. I said,
It's not even competition.
right, but I make the arguments easy for them. I take the negative all the time. Like, almost the world call these folks black. I don't. So I say, prove you black. You win. Use AI, use ChatGPT, use whatever resource you got. Prove you're black to me, and go. And nobody's done it yet. Neither has Revenue. Revenue trying to argue me that Jamaicans call themselves black before now, right? In Jamaica, and we did the research. No, that's a fairly new thing they call themselves. Jamaicans are known as Jamaican nationality, and ethnically they're known as Afro-Jamaicans. That's their term. You got Chinese Jamaicans, Indian Jamaicans, you got Afro-Jamaicans, and the Afro-Jamaicans are the revenues. They never called themselves black until recently. So cooking right there. And that's almost everybody. Everybody that calls themselves black today has been doing it after we made that word popping as our endonym. So don't give me the war. Don't give me Negro. Don't give me Sudan. I'm gonna cook all of them. Yeah. So I haven't had nobody come over here and survive the challenge. Prove you're black. And it's today. Today's the challenge. If you're Haitian, African in any way, Jamaican or West Indian, you think you're black, invite yourself up.
Studies, is there any country comparable to our racialized system at all?
No, but
I think in South Africa, kind of, but like
no, but they are now adopting. So other countries are now adopting. Well, Western influenced countries are adopting the racial system. So obviously, South Africa was like right there, so they adopted it. But it's usually countries who are Western influenced. If they're not Western influenced, you're not going to see the racial hierarchy category there at all. The racial construct will not be there.
especially now with the term we use, like YT, like there's mestizo, all types of other terms, but not ours.
Yeah.
I know in South Africa they got colored, And my understanding, that's like people mixed. I'm like, we don't even have that in America.
Well, the Indians were also classified as color too, and they're not mixed. We're talking about 100% Indians, and Chinese were also grouped as color. But what are the other classifications they use? Do they use white, Africaner, or
They have British.
yeah, Afrikaans?
So it's a two by team.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, no, but those aren't the racial. So the Zulu is not a racialized term; that's a tribal term. So what would be the racialized term? So what will be the racialized term? Well, they try to use black today, right? And you got agents like Marquette Devon Burton who be trying to call them black, like he be going out of his way to call South Africans black. Now, I will say this: South Africans themselves do not use the racial terms for themselves. They usually say what you said. That they would say I'm Zulu or Zimbabwean. Like they would use their tribal or at least their country name to identify themselves, right? Showing the tribe, all that type of stuff. But there's a guy named Steve Biko. Steve Biko was so. Let me tell you this: their race has always been everything non-black. So they've been called the native South Africans. They've been called indigenous people, and they've been called Bantu people, right? So Bantu was how they defined themselves before they co-opted and hijacked blacks. So it was Steve Biko. Steve Biko, Bantu man, was influenced by Dr. King, Malcolm X, and everything we did over here. And he decided, black and proud, black and beautiful. He decided to take that word, and I'm giving y'all names to go research. He took that name, and he was the one that tried to change, will end up changing Bantu people, Bantu South Africans to Black South Africans. And he's coined in South Africa as the guy who coined Black and Beautiful. Like everything we did over here, like he's coined that over there. He literally stole everything and been known as that over there. Black love, Black beauty, Black is beautiful, Black and proud. Like he coined that in South Africa, hijacked our history. He became known as that in South Africa. So this is why a lot of them come over here and they really just be confused because they hijack so much of our history. Right.
they save me that time because they be trying to mention revolutionaries and it sound like nothing he did is revolutionary except for co-opt.
Stole everything. And look, he gave credit. Like, so this ain't my opinion, this ain't my assessment. This is him, his words in his books, his literature. He was giving Black Americans flowers. The people, Elbridge Cleaver, he said that name. These are the folks who inspired him to do what he did. But he don't know that wasn't paying homage. That wasn't reverent. Like, dude, literally stole our stuff. Yeah, like so. No, that's not how that works. That's not how you pay respect. You don't pay respect by stealing stuff. Okay, because he could have said, "Hey, we are proud." Everything we said about blackness, he could have made that a Bantu thing and just added Bantu there. We say we're black and proud, Bantu and proud. Black is beautiful, Bantu is beautiful, right? Because the South Africaners were saying Bantu people were ugly. So that was his moment to say, no, Bantu is great. Bantu is this. Bantu is that. He didn't do that. He stole black. So that means Bantu is ugly. Bantu, all that stuff is because they never had a renaissance. They never took it back. They,
Right. You could even claim the continent. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing I was going to say for delineation. People want to say, like, let's look at the numbers for African men getting married and want to talk about BLK divorce rates. So they want to talk about negative and look up BLK and positive and look up the term African. So he even had an opportunity to say Africa is beautiful, but he still went with us. Like he rather dresses us.
right. So if you won't say African is beautiful, if you won't say Bantu people are beautiful, then you don't think they're beautiful. Like you kind of think they're ugly.
Exactly.
But you believe black is beautiful because the only representation, the only illustration of black beauty was in America. So to say black is beautiful in your mind, that's like saying Jesus. Like we've been so traumatized, you only think of a white, blue-haired, blonde-eyed Jesus guy. That's the first one to come in your mind. So when you say black is beautiful, same thing. Like you think of a Foundation for Black American and how beautiful we are before you think of yourself.
So Tariq been doing the Lord's work then still?
Yeah, man. I'm out there. If he's Moses, I'm Paul. Hey, yeah, so we out here, trying to liberate, elevate, educate, and have us represent real black excellence, not black toxicity and all that type of stuff. Black excellence.
Yeah, I only focus on our dancing and reparations.
Yeah, so reparations um is reparations is facing some barriers. The main barrier is the racial thing, right? And this is why a lot of DEI programs being shut down. It's the whole race narrative. So as long as we're connected to a race, it's going to be impossible to demand something under race because of the 1866 Civil Rights Act that that's against discrimination based on race, and the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause that denies special treatment for being a black race. So that's why I'm saying, like, we can't say we're black and say they're black, because then we're including them to us, and therefore anything under black is a nothing burger.
I
So
heard of nations can migrate to America and self-identify as BOK. The mayor of New York, Mamdani, whose two parents are both of Indian descent, although he was born in Uganda, they left there to come to America. He's younger than me, and he's the mayor of New York. And he claimed on his college application that he was BOK/African American.
yeah, let me tell you why. Because I forgot to say this. In South Africa, when they call themselves black, they also include Indians.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they extended black to Indians, but even in UK, the fake black Brits, they extended blackness to Chinese people. So Chinese people who immigrated there was also seen as black Brits.
For reparations, there are payouts that are happening currently, and ways that we've had in the past that got past strict scrutiny, got past the 14th and the Civil Rights Act.
So what are the eligibility for that? I'm gonna just see that. What are the
You know the
no.
Tuskegee experiment?
Right, I got you. But I'm saying is this: how to determine who's black and who's not? Because I'm sure an African got his hand out there, like, "Hey, I need some of that money."
Do you think there was many Africans harmed by the Tuskegee experiment?
No, but what I'm saying is, how do they determine who gets paid and who doesn't? The people paying out.
Well, it ain't a hypothetical. This happened in 1974.
No. I have a question. Look, we're saying the same thing. That's historical. That's the past. Now they got to pay out to the future, like to now, the present. So you have Native Black Americans with their hand out, like, I'm old, I'm part of that. And you also have tethers with their hand out saying, I need that. I'm black. How do the people paying the checks determine who is eligible to get paid and who isn't? That's the question I'm asking.
I don't understand your question, because it's based on people saying that they're BOK, and I'm mentioning harms that have nothing to do with that. Tuskegee experiment, just to go back to it one last time, there was a class action lawsuit in '74. Only those who were harmed by it were able to receive the payouts. They got $37,500. So if there was an African saying that he was a part of Tuskegee, but that's a lie. He wasn't here. It's not about claiming BOK. Right now in Evanston, Illinois.
So now I know about that one too. Now let me help out with that one. That one's based on race, by the way.
From 1919 and 1969, if you were harmed by redlining.
Hey, bro, the payouts. This is what I'm saying to you. You gotta listen. I understand you. I said this 10 times. The payouts are racially based, including lineage based. They're not solely lineage based. The payouts for Evanston, Illinois, go Google it right now while we're talking. It's not exclusive on lineage based. It's also racial based payouts as well. It's a racial based lawsuit. So that means that an immigrant who says I'm black can get some money out of that.
They were here from 1919 to 1969, you're saying, right?
Go Google it. Just ask, is it racial based? If it's racial based, that means it's not exclusive to those of the lineage. Real simple. Real simple language. I'm speaking it. I'm making it plain. If it's
I
race,
just think you're misunderstanding.
hey, bro, listen. No. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying to you. Racial, things that are racially based, is that exclusive to lineage Black Americans or is it inclusive? Right, right. So if people are using a historical event to give present day payouts, right? So obviously the historical event will have only dealt with us. But if they're using present day payouts and they're not making it lineage based and they're making it racially based, that means people who didn't have no ties to that but are classified as Black can get a payout, right?
Facts.
Okay.
I would never mention a claim that's happening like that.
So Evanston, Illinois is one of those claims.
Can you name the African who was one of the 141 who received this payout?
Okay, here we go again. If it's racially based, it won't delineate who's African and who's not. It'll just say Black man, Black woman. That could be an African, that could be a Haitian, that can be a lineage Black American. That's why we gotta get the language right. When you say racially based, there's no way to delineate who is who. All you gotta do is prove you're of that race. That's what I'm saying. And that's the problem with racial-based payouts.
Yeah, I'm mentioning harm-based payouts. The Tuskegee thing wasn't about looking to be okay. It was about what happened to you. The redlining harm is about what happened to our community.
Hold on.
That's a certain bracket of time.
Okay, so you may be right. I may be wrong, but let's do it right now. So I'm on my Google. So give me the first one. We're gonna find if it's racially based, the payouts are racially based or lineage based. So the first, okay, Tuskegee, Tuskegee, and then we're gonna touch Evanston next, right?
Sir. And then Rondo.
Cool. Tuskegee. Lawsuit. Okay, hold on. There you go. Okay, so the Tuskegee lawsuit. This one might be easier to prove because you got real names tied to this one. Okay, but let's look it up though. Tuskegee law. Then we're gonna touch on Evanston. Evanston gonna prove my point because that one I looked up. I know that one's racial based. Okay, so and that's why Edward Blum's boy is trying to get rid of it now because it's race based. Okay.
He's trying to include 6 Latina women who said that they were a red line from 1969 as well.
So
6 people.
All right, so the one. Well, racial-based claims are illegal, so he's trying to get rid of it. Right.
Saying that we're excluding Latinas, so including them would allow the claim to continue.
But you can't. But if his whole argument, if he got the AAER, the American Alliance Equal Rights Organization, if that organization is designed to get rid of racial-based organizations, he won't be pro them. If his whole organization is to get rid of illegally racial-based organizations, how can he also be pro a racial-based organization? But
he's demanding that he's representing 6 ladies. Okay. That's his argument, is that they're being excluded.
The ski lawsuit. Here we go. Ski lawsuit. Settlement. Race. I'm just typing race-based or lineage-based because if it's lineage-based, and it's going to.
Maybe you should say harm-based because we were harmed in the racist system, but claims are not based on the racism. They're based on the harms that we survived, like the Tuskegee experiment.
The beautiful thing about AI is that AI is going to tell you exactly. Okay. Yeah. So this one, like I said, the Tuskegee one, I wouldn't even argue because I just said this is completely lineage based because they got actual right. But this was the easy one because they got actual names of the people. Right. All right. So now let's go to the Evanston. You ready for that one?
I've researched Evanston over and over again almost every day.
Okay. So now you're
1919 and 1969.
Right. So the payouts will only be lineage based here as well, right?
Understanding, it's only for those who are harmed by redlining from 1919
Okay.
to
But the
1969.
people who got the check, I got you. You're saying the same thing over and over and over. But you're running from what?
Yes, 141 people that have been paid so far are not migrants. They're not African or Caribbean. They were our lineage.
But it right. But it's so far. But is my question is the got it? Is the door open for immigrants or closed to immigrants? That's what I'm saying.
I believe it is closed because of the timeline restriction.
But if it's race based, is it actually closed to immigrants?
No, if anything's race based, it would not be closed to.
Now okay. So okay, there you go. Everything. Okay, everything.
Nothing should be based on exclusion clause, and you mentioned the Civil Rights Act of 1866.
Everything lawsuits.
First Amendment right of the Constitution.
I'm gonna type in exactly what you say. I could sworn to everything. So yes, Yugi. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna read it verbatim. There is no lawsuit settlement regarding Evanston's reparations program. Rather, the city's program is currently being actively fought in federal court over whether it is illegally race-based versus legally harm-based. The active federal lawsuit, Flynn versus City of Evanston, centers precisely on the debate between race, lineage, and specific harm. For legal definitions in the case, race-based, the plaintiff's DOJ's argument, the conservative legal group, Judicial Watch, and the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, argue that the program is strictly an unconstitutional race-based, right? They contend that because applicants only need to identify as Black, which I was arguing, you don't need to show a lineage connection. So the DOJ is arguing what I'm saying. It's saying that it's unconstitutional because the people who are seeking the money don't need to prove lineage. All they got to do is prove they're part of the racial Black category classification. That was my entire argument. Let's keep reading. To qualify for 25,000 housing grants, the city is using race as an illegal, not harm, as an illegal proxy for discrimination without requiring individuals to prove. So you don't got to, without requiring individuals to prove they or their ancestors suffered specific individual damages. That is the DOJ argument. They're saying what I'm saying, what I've researched, that they don't have to prove they actually suffer, ancestors suffer. They just got to prove they're part of the Black race. Okay, now the lineage based, the eligibility criteria. The restorative housing program uses a lineage based structure to qualify. An applicant must be a Black individual. Right. To qualify an applicant. So this is what you're saying. To qualify, an applicant must be a Black individual who lived in Evanston between 1919 and 1969, or a direct descendant, child, grandchild, etc., of a Black resident from that time frame. And then harm based, yeah, that's excluding immigrants. And then harm based, the city's defense, the city of Evanston argues that the program is constitutionally sound because it is harm based. The city's official position is that the funds are an explicit remedy for localized historical housing terms, specifically systemic redlining, zoning restrictions, and anti-Black deed constraints enacted by the municipality during those 50 years. It says current status of the lawsuit. A federal judge denied Evanston's motion to dismiss the case, allowing the lawsuit to move forward. Following this, the U.S. Department of Justice officially moved to intervene in the suit to halt the $25,000 disbursements, claiming the program violates the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause and the Fair Housing Act. Okay, so despite the mounting legal pressure, the Evanston Reparations Committee continues to defend the program maintaining that local governments have an active responsibility to financially correct historical harms they exploited cause. Okay, so it says, all right. So that's all. That's the arguments. That's the facts. But here's what I'm asking now. I'm asking. So regardless who got the money, whether lineage or not, my thing is when I argue for reparations, I want to make sure the only qualifying individuals are from the lineage. If there's any door open that an immigrant can get it, then it's not lineage based and therefore it's illegitimate. Okay, that's why we rather delineating terms. We don't want the word black out there because black is a racial category in America. There's no federal recognized black ethnicity. So when people say black, you can only refer to a race, and races includes Africans and Haitians and West Indians, right? So if something is for black people, something is for people from other countries. So it right. So but it looks like these programs are saying lineage or saying it's for lineage, but the eligibility is broadened to the racial black category, qualifying immigrants. So that's what I'm getting out of it. And you're saying what?
I'm saying that no immigrants were here before 1969. They were to the right of the decimal.
So we're saying the same thing, and this is where I'm
should take the black part out and just have it be the timeline and the
yeah. But the fact that the black part in doesn't it include immigrants legally?
No, they were not here.
Okay.
It's just excluding Latinas.
Okay. All right. Family. I don't believe you know what the black race is.
No, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that if it just says BLK, that you were harmed by the American government, you can receive a check. People can move here from Africa tomorrow and claim
right, and that's why the DOJ is saying it's unconstitutional because they do that. So here's what, right? So here's what the argument is, right? But my God, dude, we're in 2026. In 2026, the payouts are not the people of 1619 are not, 1916, 1919 are not getting paid. The people,
yes, they are. They're still here and alive.
The Ruby Bridge is still alive. Wait, hold on. Hey, bro, 1919 and 2026. So you believe there's people over 100 years old so you believe the bulk of these payouts are for people that are still living today?
No. You read the eligibility standard earlier that it's from 1919 to 1969.
I was making a different argument. Gotcha.
There's people still living, and the people you mentioned the descendants as well. So it's not immigrants or people who can claim that they look.
No. Listen what I'm saying to you. This is the contradiction and the errors in the argument. They're making a claim who is for, but then they're saying is race based. So what I'm saying is they're saying it's for these people, but the eligibility requirements is for people who are not of those people. If it was for those people only, they would say terms like freedmen, ADOS, something like that. If it was for those people only, but the fact that they're using the racial language black, that's a low key backdoor to immigrant. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying they're not using lineage based terms to make sure lineage based people receive the money. Right, and that's why the DOJ is involved. They're saying they're using the wrong language, so these people are getting paid illegitimately.
Can we compare it to one just next door? The next state over in Minnesota.
Okay, let's deal with that.
There's a historic BLK community called Rondo that had I-94 built through it. And now Minnesota has a housing program, but it doesn't say it's based on race. Anyone who's considered low income can get a $50,000 down payment on a home. It's your first time buying a home. But if you're a Rondo descendant, meaning you can prove that you lived in that area before it was destroyed, you can receive $110,000 to repopulate the Rondo area. So you don't have to claim BLK, but it was a historic BLK community. So it's about the harm. They hurt you with urban renewal, you get help. That did not harm Africans or Caribbeans. See what I'm saying? So I consider that a lineage-based claim.
Yeah.
It includes migrants for their first time buying a home at $50,000, or it includes, you know what I'm saying, other
BS.
Right.
But if we're getting our check, and that's way better than 25,000, 110.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you're saying. The issue that myself, Tariq Nasheed, and Yvette Carnell is focused on, all what you're saying sounds great, but the finesse is the who gets paid part. All that, oh, Lenny is this, descendant of that. But once it says black people are getting paid, that's when we say, hold on now, that's the back door. So all that what you said earlier sounds great until it tells me the eligible participants are black, flat black people. That's when we all say it cannot say that. It has to keep saying lineage, 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 not black.
In California, their eligibility standard says you have to trace ancestor back to the census of 1870, free black before 1900.
That's what we want to. That's what we want to read. Right. That's what we want to read. Because I'm saying everything you're saying is great and it's not wrong. I'm trying to get you to focus on who's actually getting the money though. Who's owed is one thing, but who's collecting it is
focused on how much, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
yeah, but it won't matter if it's 100,000, $1,000, $1, 1 million. If it's going to the wrong people, that's a problem, and that's problematic for the people I just named, include myself.
People are still alive, right?
Yeah.
They're over 100 years old, right?
Yeah, I know. It's a few of them. It's a handful.
Okay, so I'm just saying, there are harms that we survived even after enslavement. You agree? Need to be recompensed. There are states that have admitted to these harms: urban renewal, eminent domain.
Yeah.
For Bruce's Beach in California, that are being said that we can now snowball effect.
Yeah.
And they need to be based, I would argue. This is based on
I just gave a community post of the mayor of New York saying like he's with reparations. I just made that this morning or last night.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, so but here's the thing. So because we keep saying the same thing, but then we're splitting away. I'm saying all that sounds great. I'm now focused on who names are eligible for the check. That's all. Because if it's just saying black, then all that lineage harm base goes out the door. That was just smoke and mirrors, and it's really for everybody. They just said that to lullaby people asleep. That it's the same thing when we hear about a white T man getting charged for a racialized crime against somebody black. You know, then we go to sleep because he got charged. But we don't follow up 2 years later during his trial, or they drop the charges, or he gets no time. You dig? Like the guy just like the woman, the Asian woman was in Minnesota who deleted that FBA woman for stealing. She said stealing the juice, never took the juice out. Now she got locked up. Like they burned out stuff and everything, but the woman faced, they let her go, no charges. But we quit when we found she got locked up and charged. Not locked up, but charged. When we found she got charged, we left the story alone. It turned out that she never did any time. They pretty much let her go. So I'm saying that we get caught up on certain language and then we go to sleep. It's like, no, we got to follow all of it and see who's actually, yeah, they're saying lineage, harm base, but we're seeing the payout is for people who can be for people. And the fact that possibility is there is no good. It's this be zero because you talked about the internment camps. That's called the actual act is called the 1988 Civil Liberties Act. Okay, that's what the act is actually called for those Japanese people that were thrown in internment camps in the 1940s. Okay, so now right, yeah, but here's where the stiff eligibility requirements. This were for people. This was for not Asians. It didn't say Asians, by the way. We're allowing them, right? But we're allowing them to say black in these lineage-based payouts. Where they're saying black, that's not lineage. So the Japanese people didn't allow the word Asian there. The Civil Liberties Act was for 1988 was for Japanese people only, but not all Japanese. It was for Japanese. It wasn't for Japanese who were in internment camps in the UK or somewhere else. It was America only, and you had to prove your internment camp or displacement. You had to prove that. And then I think 25,000 was awarded to those individuals. But you had to prove Japanese and something like that. But you had to, yeah. But this is 1988. that 25 probably like 150 grand. So we're just saying like you had to prove you were Japanese descent. Then it goes from there to prove that you were in this country and you were displaced or forced into a internment camp, and that's when the payout happened. So the LGBT payouts was tight knit and was not for the other Japanese people couldn't sneak in there.
Facts, facts. And that's why I mentioned the 1974 class action lawsuit, because that's 37,500 that they got each in 1974 before the 80s. And so I just think we need to be thinking higher about the numbers. That's what my focus has always been and continues to be. But that's because I can sit back and know that the right people are fighting for delineation and making sure that it doesn't say black and instead says harm, says lineage and specific. The Buffalo incident that happened in 2022, May 14th, they have a 514 survivors fund where $6 million is about to be paid out to 169 people harmed by that atrocity. That was in 2022.
Yeah, you had 9/11 payout. Yeah, a bunch of payout.
It's not based on race, right? But if 9/11
That's based on harm.
Receiving those funds, and so that's what I'm saying is happening now. It is lineage based because it's based on they harmed our community.
Yeah, but is the pay okay? I agree to 1,000 times over. The lineage base are the people who were victimized. Now we're focused on the payout base. Is the payout base? We understand who the victims were. We understand who went through it and who didn't. Now we want to make sure the payouts are lineage based. We understand the harm is lineage based. Now our focus are the payouts lineage based or racial based. That's where we're at today.
For 9/11, it's not right. For 514, it's not.
Yeah, it was but that's that.
They're getting 90,000 to 250,000 a pop. But what I've learned is there were YT people shopping in the store when the atrocity happened, who the kid who live streamed it skipped over because he was only there to harm us and 10 of us. And so their families receiving these payouts, but so are the YT cashiers and YT people shopping that day because they said that they're traumatized by the incident, even though they weren't the targets.
Right.
It's not race based. That means that other people can grab our ish as usual.
Yeah. I mean, but that's different from a reparations claim. A reparations claim so you have like civil. I forgot. There's another term for like claims that's like when you say reparations is very strict. That's why
State acts of atonement.
Yeah. When you say reparations, it's strict eligibility claims for that. The strict scrutiny is on another level. Reparations payouts are totally like what's allowed and disallowed in reparations payouts is totally different than other civil suits or atonement suits. The eligibility requirements is not the same because reparations you can collect on behalf of people like ancestors. There's lawsuits that won't let you do that. Like it's surviving people only.
Facts, yeah, statute limit and all that. But can we go to the other example I got? I got an
Sure.
Oregon one for you.
Sure. Hold on.
I think these are all good news, but I'm an optimist, so I appreciate some scrutiny so that I can sober myself.
Mm-hmm. So Oregon.
Again, just outside of Portland, there was a city called Albina. In my understanding, 27 people were harmed by eminent domain harm in the 1960s, sued the city of Portland as well as the Keller Auditorium and I believe a hospital in federal court. That lawsuit was settled by the city of Portland. And I'm reading the article right here. City Council increased the settlement from $2 million to $8.5 million for a group of BLK residents and descendants from the Albina neighborhood. So you're saying this BLK residents, we need to look at that because that might mean Africans and Caribbeans. But it says who are displaced by urban renewal projects dating back to the 1960s. They're each going to get $237,000 a pop, as well as they had another list of demands like a Descendants Day, so that people remember they get 3 plots of land that they get to build on that they don't have to pay for. think there's like 8 different things. I wish I had them all memorized, but it really just mentions this 2 million becoming 8.5, and I thought that was interesting. Do you think this is lineage based, or do you think there might be some Africans?
Once it said, I know this. When you say the word black represents immigrants more than it does the lineage. All right, so it says the let me read it. It says the payouts from the historic albina eminent domain lawsuit in Portland are lineage based, meaning eligibility is strictly tied to a direct family connection to the original displaced properties rather than general race or ethnicity. There you go.
Yes. All right, we got a win on the board, bro. We on the board, bro.
Well, the Tuskegee one was too. When we read that one, Tuskegee was lineage based.
That's 1574. I'm trying to say within my lifetime, but I was born 88, so I don't be wanting to bring up the old stuff, but I gotta start there. And I like smacking the Japanese on the hand because we got more than they did. Obviously, we deserve more.
Yeah, so so it was 26, 8.5 was a 327,000 each out of 26 people. For 26 people.
And the plots of land, right? And they have perpetual seats on the Keller Auditorium. 2 different boards that they have, like one for I think finances and one for renovation. They have some demands.
Yeah, so let me read it. So it says, because it is a legal rights settlement rather than a broad municipal policy program, the benefits apply strictly to the verified lineage of those impacted. So that's important. It says, because it's a legal civil rights settlement rather than a broad municipal policy program, the benefits apply strictly to the verified lineage of those impacted. The financial payout, 8.5 million, is shared directly among the 26 specific plaintiffs listed in the lawsuit, which breaks down to roughly 327,000 per descendant. Land retribution, the settlement mandates transferring ownership of 2 vacant parcels of land in North Portland back to the EDPA2 descendants at no cost. Generational benefits, the agreement incorporates non-monetary restitution tailored to lineage, including a 10-year hiring preference for descendants at local venues like the Keller Auditorium and direct inclusion in future city renovation planning committees. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And that's actually the small change news because they have the Albina Vision Trust that's receiving $488 million from the Department of Transportation at the federal level. And that's because they're supposed to build a tunnel over I-5 because of the urban renewal harm disconnecting their communities. They're going to get to reconnect them and have businesses on top of that tunnel and parks and stuff like that. So that's $488 million for the Albina Vision Trust. The Albina Vision Trust, they have their board listed publicly, and some of them names I can't pronounce. So that's speaking to your point a lot, though. But some of them is us. Yeah.
Right. So I'm with you. I'm just making sure we get paid and nobody else. That's my only concern.
And I'm making sure it's a lot of pay because they got us messed up with 25K when they owe 327. Let me make sure I'm getting my numbers right. I mean, what would you do with 300,000 about?
I'm not sure, but something. I have a plan for it eventually. I'm not sure right now when I do it.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, because for me, more research guy. Like whatever, if I invest in a business, gotta be a lot of research in that location. Cause location is everything. Demand is another thing. You can start a business, but if there's no demand for it. Because for example, I'm in New Jersey and I see a lot of business open and close, and I see no matter what that business is in that location, they all close. It's a couple of them in New Jersey I ride past all the time, man. And no matter what it is, it can't stay open because it's in a bad place, bad location.
always said I wanted to own a parking lot as a kid. I was like, that seemed like the easiest business to have. They just paint lines on the ground.
Charge people.
Yeah, electric car, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know what would be dope if you had your laundromat and we made like a business mall type thing. That would be more profitable because now barber shops over there, you know, those like mall things might work.
Yeah,
Everybody got to get sit down. Because everybody goes that way for something, you know. And then while they're there, they say, hey, you know, it's a laundromat over here. Let me wash some clothes, or the food over here is good to eat, or let me get a haircut. Let me get some clothes. Like those might be, you know, good if black people want to go in business. I would say do something like that where everybody eats.
Oh.
Where one customer from one business be exposed to all the businesses there.
Yeah, I know in Jersey, they got that all Asian market, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all Asian food and stuff like that. People be going to it in West New York, New Jersey, I think.
They got a bunch of
Don't get me lying.
Western markets there though. Asian markets.
I agree.
They got a bunch of Asian markets there. Yes, sir. All right. And what's your Yak? Yeah, so your name is Yak Films. In this case, they want to find you. YAK Films. And he's focused on, he wasn't lying, he focused on reparations. That's his main thing. And they can find you on TikTok, Yak Films.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
They can find you on TikTok, you say? Yak Films, any website?
Yeah. I just reached 10,000 followers on TikTok for the dance content I've done for the last 18 years now, since 2008. I was filming my own culture, our own dances and stuff, the battles I was competing in. And I started getting asked to travel the world because Americans were being invited to compete worldwide. So I got to film it, document it, host shows about it and stuff.
Okay.
But now I'm focused on our check. So
yeah,
kind of like Tariq, like he made Hidden Colors and all that. He was a documentarian.
Yeah.
And he's focused on microphone check and specificity and gatekeeping. So shout out to him.
Yes, sir. All right. It's good to hear another positive lineage member out here that ain't toxic, divisive, xenophobic, who out here actually getting things done, you know, saying they want to do something.
That time, sir. Yes, sir.
And out there doing, yeah. So it's a pleasure meeting you. I'm normally I told everybody like I stayed on because of you. I stayed on long because of you, but I'm never like this live will be like an hour long earlier, but because you hopped on, like the convo was beneficial to the public, so I stayed a little longer. But now I gotta make things happen. So I'm in a location where I'm about to solicit my business to a bunch of folks and then try to get things shaking. Right. Yeah, but tap in, follow. I follow you back. I'm normally live 5 like around weekdays, 5 a.m. to about 6, about an hour and a half on weekdays. Sometimes Sunday morning I go live, but I gotta cut it short because I play ball in the morning. So I go live until it's time to get out there and ball. And you know, so weekends I'm not really live like that. It's spontaneous, but weekdays, Monday through Friday, about 5 a.m. to about 6:30. You catch me. Go sit down. Okay. Yeah. So let me get out of here, family. It's a pleasure talking to you. I got to now get some business.
Much love, bro.
Yes, sir.
Peace and inspiration.
Be1, bro. Peace. Peace to TikTok. Hope y'all enjoyed the conversation. My YouTubers. So I understood what he was saying. I just wanted him to be very clear on what I was saying. I want him to be very clear that I was speaking about the payouts. I understand, I'm not against you. I understand who the harmed people were and are. I understand who the harmed people are, or the lineage people of the lineage. I understand that. But just point out that not all these payouts are lineage based. As I said, the Tuskegee, I could see that being lineage based because you got real names who are part of it. They document real names. But when you talk about reparations, like us, what's the real names? 50 million of us. There's 20 million and there's a million. And like not every name was, it's a little harder to track. That's why we just talk about the events that happened. And we know we had members of our lineage who were there, who suffered that, who likely suffered that. So we're arguing on behalf of them. That's all. So for me, I'm just making sure whoever is advocating for reparations, please focus on the language. Pinpointing who's old ain't enough. Now you got to pinpoint who name is on those checks. Now you got to pinpoint who name is on those checks. That's all I'm trying to let the brother know. I think he got it now. Like the word black being there, that black, I keep telling y'all, that black means immigrant more than it's ever meant lineage in this country. Okay, especially when it's positive or a finesse going on. That black is going to be more immigrant than ever. Only when it's negative, that black becomes more lineage than immigrant. So my thing is, let's keep the language consistent from acknowledging the harm base all the way to the payout. Let's keep it, the language, keep saying harm base, lineage base, and not flat black. All right. So with that being said, peace to the family. Nah, but they got money, they got land, and they got some other non-monetary things. Like, you know what I mean? But they did get money, 327,000